So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits and my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys. Amazing viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so blessed that you guys finally found me. For those of you guys returning, I'm so grateful and I cannot wait to get into your reading. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading, we're looking at the person on your mind and what has this person realized in regards to themselves. So please keep in mind that energy can be very fluid, okay? Meaning sometimes there's a blend of energy. Usually I could tell if there's multiple energies, and it's up to you to determine who is who. Sometimes your energy pulls through that pile and not necessarily the person on your mind. And so if it resonates as your energy, you might want to go check out another pile. Sometimes Spirit wants you to get a new insight or perspective regarding your own energy, hence why you've tapped into that pile, but don't feel obligated to listen to that. And a lot of times, all my piles could certainly be interconnected. So you could be looking at different aspects of the same person, different people pulling through, different aspects of yourself. Just keep an open mind as to how it comes through. It should definitely resonate with an aspect, okay? But it's nothing that you're going to have to force or be like shockingly surprising to you in any sort of way, because then that means it's not your pile. All right, so use your intuition, and I won't be doing an energy check, so it's very important that you sort of have an open intuition here so that you know whether this is connecting to the person you came here about, okay? So it won't be for everybody, and that's fine. I'll see you guys at the next reading. And today's reading will have 4 options with these 4 tarot packs, but let's look at the oracle cards we'll be using. So we'll be using the Astrology Oracle and the Wild Unknown archetypes and the archetype cards. We'll also be using these beguiling buttons. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Absolutely love these buttons, by the way, Etsy. These Enneagram Oracle cards. Love, love, love. If you guys are interested in any of these sort of tarot decks and Oracle cards, I do have a playlist with a lot of these there if you're interested in going to see what they're all about before you make a purchase wherever you tend to go get your cards. So beautiful angels, that's all we'll be using for the oracles, and let's get into your 4 options for today's reading. Option number 1, we have the Gilded Tarot. Option number 2, we have the Tarot Illuminati. Option number 3, we have the Mystical Realm Tarot. And last but not least, we have the Monet Tarot. So sit with this energy, beautiful people, and I will put a timestamp in the description box and in the pinned comment below. Take you directly to your pick. If you have a difficult time choosing, close your eyes for a few moments, and then when you open your eyes, most likely the first one that pulls through will be your pile, okay? It could be your energy. Like I said, it's going to have the strongest pull. So you might want to pick your second if that ends up being reversed, okay? So I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 1, you guys picked the Gilded Tarot. I can't wait to get into your reading. We're taking a look at the person on your mind and what have they realized about themselves. Okay, so this might be a difficult one to sort of tell if it's your person because I won't be doing an energy check, but I do trust Spirit will sort of pull through the old self or the old understanding, you know, so that we know what the new understanding is, although I can't guarantee that, and I don't want this reading to be 10 hours long. So we're just asking about what is it that this person is coming to realize about themselves. If you're still developing your intuition, you know, I do ask that you come up with what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your reading or not. Okay, but don't force anything to fit. This shouldn't be any sort of major revelations in regards to shocking news about this person. It should match what you're intuitively already sitting with, okay? If it's your energy, then go check out another pile. Sometimes two energies pull through. It could be a blend, but don't force it to fit. So Spirit, for pile number 1, regarding the person they came here about, what is this person's realizations about themselves here? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. What is pile 1's person, the person they came here about? What is their realization about themselves? If you fall in my lap, I do feel like there's probably one more wanting to come out here. Wow, there's lots. Spirits, that's representation in regards to pile 1's person and person they came here about and their realization about self. Wow, lots again. I have a feeling this person is a complete different person. Oh, spirits, please help me out here. Oh, dropped one. I got so many that want to come through this deck. Seriously. I'll put this back and we will pull a few, okay? I do feel there's going to be a few of these. So spirits, please, best representation of this person and what they have realized about themselves. What have they recently realized about themselves? Pile 1's person they came here about. Thank you so much. I just heard problematic. I don't know, has this person been problematic? My goodness, that's a lot. Yoicks. All right. Pile number 1. These pile 1's person, what has been their realizations here about themselves? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. What is pile 1's major realizations in regards to themselves? One really wanting to come out. I'll take it. And these pile 1 person that they came here about. What is... Okay. Wow. I'm like, I'll just pull 3 cards. No, you won't, Linda. You never pull 3 cards. Okay. Oh, gosh. Victim. Light attributes. Prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Shadow attributes. Playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Yikes. Martyr. Light attributes. Learning to transcend nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow attributes. Addiction to self-pity. Warrior. Light attributes: strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Shadow attributes: trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. Storyteller. Light attributes: ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow attributes: making up tales that harm others. Scribe. Light attributes: preserving knowledge and information. Shadow attributes: altering facts or plagiarizing others' work. This message is coming through very strong and clear. We might boop this upwards. Okay, so we have companion. Light attributes: loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. Shadow attributes: betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. Femme fatale. Light attributes: highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Shadow attributes: inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money or power. And Gambler. Light attributes, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. Shadow attributes, relying on luck rather than hard work. Holy camoli. Dispute, confrontation, villain role, quarrel, breakup, divergency, and make a choice. Number 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Card 27 as well. 27 could be an age. 9 is giving me hermit, Cancer, Pisces energy. And, well, hermit is Virgo. Cancer, Pisces is the moon, which I'm getting from both of these, or from the number 9, I should say. We have self-listening, self-promoting, self-focusing, loneliness, self-assertion, setting boundaries, recognizing your needs. Card 20, or the number 2. We have avoidance, ego level. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Wowzers. We got the root chakra and the solar plexus. And we have mental tendency 56, or number 2, hysteria, excessive emotion, stimulation, delusion, agitation, overexcitement, affective dependence. Affective dependence. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. Okie dokie. And we have automaton, which is a form of being sort of robotic or doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. We have the desert, 37, the number 10. Yeah, 10's all about ends of cycles. And we have Kairos with the number 76. So it's the number 13, which is transformation, which is also an end of a cycle. We'll reveal these. I do want to just connect to this in the book real quickly, because there's a message pulling through here that will help the channeling. And yeah, we'll see. What is this message pulling through? This observation. Okay, I'm getting a really interesting energy here. Like the channeling is coming through really strong. Should be right. Kind of more near the end here. Okay. Mythic time, synchronicity. We all have the experience of timelessness, of life beyond the ticking of the clock. It may be felt as time standing still, slow motion, or losing track of time on a walk or in a lonely conversation. This is known as mythic time, and it is the territory of Kairos. This card suggests there is a secondary time continuum that goes beyond any earthly clocks and schedules. Within this non-linear realm, we access divine timing. A single moment ripens with auspiciousness, and our actions change the trajectory of our whole life. Time becomes a living thing that watches over us and tells us precisely when to speak or act. When this card appears, it is all about patience and precision. No clock can guide you. Wait for the rush of inner knowing, and not a moment longer. When light, alignment, ease, and decisions in action. When dark, fighting against time. Holy camoli. I just heard this person jumped timelines. And I feel like this is most likely your energy, you guys. Okay, 4 of Cups. Yeah. 4 of Cups, this card is the unrequited love or rejection or boredom, or seeing the blessing here. We have 5 Wands, conflict, competition, 6 Wands, ego, victory, being appreciated and celebrated. We have 5 Swords in reverse. So multiple people creating conflict and sabotage where nobody wins. 4 Swords in reverse. So it could be coming out of healing or a need to slow down and reflect. We have the moon, talk about reflection. It's all about emotions, divine feminine. Could be our subconscious, our fears. Yeah, our emotions, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So divine timing pulling through very strong. Maybe some karmic lessons here of sorts, something stuck. Instead of progressing, maybe we felt stunted here. Hierophant, Taurus, or values or commitments, lessons right on top of this wheel, which again, I was feeling like a karmic lessons of sorts, and 7 Swords in reverse. Yeah, need to be honest with something in regards to the truth, our own truth, in this case, the world, closing out a cycle. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is such a major, major energy here. I'm going to start channeling. Okay, just give me a moment. You can click on the timestamp I'll put there for you to skip ahead. Started fighting for their life here. Okay, a lot of you guys, this is your own energy. Okay, this really resonates with like a people pleaser type thing. This is a massive realization of ego. And so this person is in the process of healing this. Okay, I don't know where they're at. I'm assuming this is you, but I'll say this person. Okay, and I say healing this. We don't really necessarily need to be healed. Nobody needs healing per se, but we do need to identify challenges that are created in our world manifesting around us when we internalize and when we act out of shadow, when we're not conscious of our subconscious triggers, fears, and we react. And when we react, it's really 99% of the time subconsciously. We might feel we're conscious of what we're saying and doing, but really it's driven by fears and past experiences and emotions that are heavily stored in our energy body. Okay, so this person, what are they working through and realizing? It's coming in piecemeal. I feel like why these cards all kind of barfed out. If you guys didn't sit through the card layout, these cards were really wanting to come out. I feel like I could probably pull another, 10 cards here, because I feel like this person is jumping timelines. However they knew their life beforehand is completely different. And this could go way back to when you met this person. Okay, I was kind of intending on it being sort of a recent realization. And so because this is pulling through now, I do feel like for this group specifically, it could still apply, to the person you came here about, or you, or however you're resonating as, where you're at sort of in the timeline. But I really feel like the one I'm connected to here the most is somebody who's about to close this chapter, is kind of what I feel. Okay, so if we're just sort of having these awarenesses, then it could still be your pile for sure. And some messages might come through here for you. But I feel like why all these cards were barfed out here was to like look at this full sort of journey that this person has been on in regards to finding self, finding self that's void of any relationship or external circumstance or validation from the outside world, which is very sort of difficult to do when we feel lack, or we feel abandoned, or we feel less than, or we feel like the outside world or relationship is going to bring to us a reflection of value and make us feel whole and safe and complete. So this person has a history here, okay, in connection, might be in this relationship specifically, or just in their history of relationships, of sort of losing themselves, martyring themselves, overgiving, and settling in a lot of cases, and taking sort of bare minimum in order to be accepted or loved or approved. And they contort themselves in a way here that starts to believe their own sort of triggers and fears of abandonment and self-worth. And so it's like, if this person isn't valuing me or showing me value or showing interest in me, then this takes away from my self-worth and my self-value. And this is really ingrained in this person's, I just heard bedrock foundation of who this person is. Now, we know that's not who they are. That's the construct, the identity that they created. And I feel like this is a root chakra thing in order to feel safe and loved and accepted, because this person as a child, and we're not going to get too much into the subconscious, but how these things are formed, is we're not given enough attention potentially by the parent. Okay, and in this case, it does feel like it's a divine feminine energy. Okay, gender's not what I'm talking about here. Okay, if you're gender triggered, then you know what to do. leave comments and build my algorithm, or you can just do what you want. But what this is about is the energy of the divine feminine, which, if she has a dysfunctional relationship with her father figure, as psychology sort of revealed here, is that she then becomes sort of dysfunctional with her relationships with masculine. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be the father-daughter paradigm dynamic, but it is about energy, and it also is about this person really having to accept themselves and love themselves from within. And this person has gone through having to understand what this looks like. And so I feel like there is some form of confrontation that has happened here in this connection. Okay, could be just the overall having to confront this connection with you. Okay, because again, I'm reading this as your person, although, like I said, just feels like the person I'm reading for, but having to confront the challenging circumstance of this connection, because this connection isn't validating this person, isn't mirroring to them this fullness. In fact, this connection is something that has been starving this person of something they are really trying to find, but they're looking in the wrong direction. They're looking to you. They're looking to connection. They're looking to be saved by other. And this person is strong. Okay, I feel like this person is confident, probably very beautiful, probably very successful, probably very loving and compassionate. But this is what their challenge is like, this is something that is being really revealed to them. And so this could have got really triggered by a breakup or a separation. And this person is being asked to make a choice, to choose themselves in order for them to break through this. But I feel like this person might feel very lonely, might have anxious attachment style, might feel very anxious when they're by themselves. Like, there's a loneliness here rather than a finding strength in self. And I feel like this person has a difficult time asserting themselves, speaking up for their own, what they need, and it's the settling thing again. And then it's like having to go through what this person is sort of realizing here, because like I said, I do feel like I'm reading for someone who's quite gone through this, is like this pivotal point of taking a chance on choosing themselves and releasing potentially the opportunity to please someone or to have this connection, because it is coming through with this connection specifically, and not know where this is going to go. There's a lot of fear in sort of choosing self and standing up for self and saying, you know what, like, I need more love or attention or affection or whatever this person needs to feel okay. And so it's like setting boundaries that they can support. Because I think this person's learned, like, overgiving isn't going to change the narrative here. And the story of the slate of what got written upon them was just that, a story, an identity in which they believe to be very, very real. And it's been reflected to them throughout probably many relationships, but very much highlighted or mirrored to them throughout this relationship. And maybe this was never known or seen to them before this relationship for a lot of them. And so this is like recognizing what they need in order to become fulfilled on their own without connection. And so I feel like Spirit is stripping this person away from connection. Like whatever connections, if it means that they're like this in the friendships, it's like all friendships, all relationships that are intimate, whatever it is that this person needs stripped away in order for them to see this, has been sort of stripped away. And so I don't know how long this person has been sort of going through this, but I do feel like this connection rejected them, and it wasn't had anything to do with them per se, but they might have taken it very personal. It's like, I'm being rejected by this person. This person isn't giving me the appreciation I deserve or that I need. And it's like, nobody owes you anything, person. And there's an understanding here. It's like, the more I give in some sort of capacity here, then the more that I'm sort of owed, you know? But this person was really needing to, like I said, to dive in deep towards themselves. So I feel like there is this karmic thing that they're having to overcome and really learn, and also who they do let in their world around them will come as a result of them really connecting to this part of themselves and knowing when people cross their boundaries, or when people, relationships aren't fulfilling for them or aren't giving them the love or appreciation or validation or success that they felt that was required. Now, this isn't the type of energy where it's like, I'm leaving this connection because you're not appreciating me or seeing my value, and therefore I'm going to another connection where I could be loved, appreciated, and it's a balance, give and take. No, that's not what I'm talking about here at all. If that's what you think, you're missing the boat. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay? Bye-bye. Not that at all. This is talking about, I'm so blinded by my ego. This is ego, you guys. Okay? Loving, giving, over caring. Okay, good. Like compassion is, I always talk about, because we need compassion, we need love, unconditional love. But when unconditional love is beside all these other things, then it's not just about unconditional love. It's unconditional love competing with fears, doubts, egos, stories, and shadows, triggers, what's it called? Abandonment wounds, like all of this stuff. And this is the stuff that needs to go away. And then we're left with unconditional love. And only unconditional love can sort of drive a healthy relationship. Okay, but it's stemmed from the inside. And so I feel like this person was confusing what unconditional love means by being a martyr here and sacrificing themselves and depleting themselves here, to the point where they might have just been very either depleted, some might have got, I don't know, upset, angry, hurt, disappointed, rejected, feeling low on themselves, and not seeing the truth, you know? And I feel like ego is really pulling through here, because I feel like this person might be very used to getting things this way, you know, like the more I give, then I'm recognized, or people really appreciate me and they value me because I'm all of these things. Caring, loving, giving, like, but they identify with those things, and it's like, no, you're not really those things. You're doing those things out of choice, but that doesn't become you. And I think that's the biggest sort of disconnect. It's like, what we are is our essence behind the awareness, and how we engage in the world is just an act of our values and our beliefs and our conditioning and our programming. And at any moment, like I always give the example, if we fall and bop our head and we're a complete different person, we don't remember who we are, does that mean we're dead? No, that means we don't remember any of those things, because that's not who we are. Those are all just built upon programs and conditions and fears and all of that taking the wheel. And then it's like, what we are in this present moment is a choice. And when we're conscious and aware of it, then we make very specific choices that aren't driven by reactions from fears and triggers and, you know, like, I don't want to be alone. Don't leave me. This is what I'm needing to feel a certain way. So this person is recognizing this and being honest with themselves. And I feel like the honest truth here is that I think they're making hard, honest truths about this connection specifically, which is telling them it's time to trust the divine and abandon ship where you're not being given what you want, no matter how much you invested here. Or else you're sort of not learning and you're stuck here. And that this person's non-interest here, or this unrequited love, or this conflict that they're having, is something that will just keep sort of perpetuating here. And so they could stay unfulfilled, hoping, craving, wanting, and very sort of conflicted here. Or they could release, trust the divine, and allow divine timing to sort of sort out whatever's supposed to be without needing the need for control, and really do the work, which is not avoiding, because this person has the tendency to avoid going within and sitting with that abandonment, and they're not consciously avoiding it, saying, I know I was abandoned, I'm not going to look at it. No, this is why it's in the subconscious. They might not even remember feeling disconnected from a parent. They may not even remember what it was that they needed at some point in time. And this could be something that's come into this lifetime with them. So they may say, well, I had a perfect upbringing, I had a perfect, I don't know, relationship dynamic with my parents, but that's beyond the point. The point is that this person acts out of some sort of subconscious automated programming that is creating their fear and their dynamic, the conflict, and feeling lonely, unloved, and unheard, and a need to really understand, what does boundary look like? And now, I always say this because they need to close this out, and that's what they're doing. They're closing this major thing out so that they could find fulfillment within themselves, so they can bond in a connection differently and find the right sort of partner in their world, because they're jumping timelines. But like I was saying, this person, what was I saying? Sorry, I kind of cut myself off there. I don't know what I was going to say, and the channeling just sort of turned off. So they're having to be honest with themselves, having to trust in divine timing, having to maybe make a tough decision, walking away, letting this go. And this isn't about like, now I carry all these other programs and values for the end of time. Like, this is this is really about, what do I value in the present moment? Because our values, what is the most important thing, should always be conscious in the present moment. It's not set in stone. And this is what is very challenging and creates a lot of suffering, is because if we hang on to the belief that's been carried down from parent to child, or just ingrained in us, and we agreed with it for whatever reason, that's like something that sounds good on paper, like, okay, commitment and monogamy are what I value. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would actually agree. This is what I value. And this is my conditioned belief, because this has been showed upon them, right? Because when they were born, it's been what they experienced. Otherwise, they grew up in some commune where there was like polygamy or whatever, so it's been in their world. And Spirit's really saying that it's okay to have these, but we have to be conscious in the present moment of what that moment calls for. It can't be set in stone. Again, now I know why we were seeing like written in the stone of who this person is. It's like, there is nothing written in the stone of who you are. The only thing that remains is the essence, light being of who we are. Everything else is program, conditioning, beliefs. And we could say, that's my value. I'm so moral. This is ethically makes sense. And it's like, and so we might even be religious with this, and it's like, well, I'm not going to kill anyone, but let's just say, for example, like, we don't want to kill any of God's beings. And there's like a coyote that's like creeping up on a baby's basket that's there. And you see this. And the only thing to do is to kill that coyote. Or maybe a person, or say, I could kill the coyote, I can't kill a person. Like, they're all divine beings of God. And so what does that present moment require? I don't kill. Yeah, you shouldn't kill, because that's, the law of one. The commandment, whatever you want to call it, your value, your belief, what you were ingrained, what's morally right, whatever. But at the same time, like I keep saying, it's in the present moment. It requires us to always check our values. It requires us to be conscious. And so this isn't about this person all of a sudden becoming a polygamist, but this is happening as a lesson for this person to keep checking their values, keep being conscious, keep being awake. This is all about being awakened, conscious. And the only way is to recognize where we're acting out of triggers and fears and programs, constantly creating same outcomes: suffering, loneliness, scarcity, feeling abandoned, feeling lonely. Okay, what I was going to say before, because this is coming through about the setting boundaries. I always say that you don't need to set boundaries when you have no ego, because nobody is creating any sort of triggers in the subconscious. And I always hear people say, until they come correctly, I block them. And like, yes, sometimes in order to heal, we might have to put up a wall so that we can reflect and heal and just be like unplug, But when we are out of ego, we don't have to set these boundaries and block people, avoid them, resist them. That's ego. Any form of like blocking, resisting, creating space means the ego's still alive. And some people say, oh, ego is okay. Having a little bit of ego is okay. And everyone has little ego here and there. It's like, you have to transmute the shadowy parts of your ego that acts in automatic fashion, because then you're still asleep, because it is running the show. Unbeknownst to you, it's making decisions and conversations, and it's running, and you're not even aware of the software that's running in the program. And so when you bring something from the shadow into light, it's no longer in the shadow, and that's how you transmute it. And it doesn't pull on your emotions. And I feel like this person is like really sort of with this excessive emotions, because it's like all of a sudden I'm like highs, and like really emotionally upset because this person, like it's a delusion here. It's storyteller. The delusion is that they believe their stories, that they're less than, or they really got rejected. This really happened. There's a dependency here on external validation to prop up this person, make them feel validated. That is the lie. That is not true, because their self-value is unwavering. They just don't see it or connect to it. And so this person is learning this, seeing this, understanding about this. It's huge. It's very heavy, because there's so much in the subconscious that's been making these decisions, acts of desperation potentially, or even if they haven't been like this in the past, because I do feel like this person is quite successful, and I feel like this person is quite attractive, and whatever successful means, whatever attractive means. Again, this is what I'm talking about. What does attractive, successful mean? And it's like an understanding of, I am all of these things, and so therefore the universe will deliver to me. And it's like, no, that's not actually how the universe works. The universe is under the program of the universe itself and God itself. And that's what it is. No little I, no ego is going to have any change. So this person might have a need for control, controlling outcome. Having a story belief that if I do this, then this will be the result. If I do that, then that will be the result. And it's like not seeing it. And so doing more of that, and then feeling left out, feeling very victim, rejected, unappreciated, not seen, not understood. It's this other person. It's imbalance. It's not good. It's like, no. They might be feeling that it's imbalanced. They might be feeling it's not good. But what does that mean? That means look at self and start actually listening to the part of self that's acting out of program here. And so this connection might have been very stuck. Like I said, there might have been a lot of, separations, arguments, feeling rejected, left out, and them really needing to make this choice. And I feel like this person is making this choice. That's where they're at, or that's where they're headed. And I feel like this person might have been put in a situation here where they had to compete for your affection, attention, and want to be seen by you, want to be loved by you, want you to validate them and, toot their horn. And we can say, well, there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good and seen and appreciated by others. It's like, yeah, but that's what the ego wants. Love has nothing to do with any of that. That's not real love. That's loving with ego. Love just loves things as is and accepts things as they are, reality as it is, people as they are. That's the honest truth. Everything else is ego. And so if this person wants that type of a connection, then they're staying in their egoic ways of understanding relationship and love. I want someone to treat me like this and do that and all of these things. And it's like they'll forever be seeking that type of a partner, because not every partner is going to be able to check off these boxes for them. There'll be a point where that person might not do it. They might do it for a bit. They might do it for 20 years. They might be searching forever. And it's like, that's not the point. The point is find it within, because the moment something happens to that person or that person's unavailable, it's like, I've lost my sense of identity and strength. Meanwhile, it's like, no, you haven't. It's always been in there. So they're finding their inner warrior, and their inner warrior has to be seen and connected to, so that they can be, connected to and honest with what that looks like and what that feels like, not avoiding this pain by externally seeking and all of that. So let's pull these buttons. I don't know why I have the buttons here. I just sort of wanted to use buttons, but it might provide some insights before we wrap this up for pile number 1. And the person that pile 1 came here about, which, like I said, do feels a lot of you guys. So this hand has the 2 meanings. This is from Coraline. It's like the tall, dark, handsome stranger, or it could mean like the demise. So again, there's like these 2 things here that are happening. Yeah, look, it's called the giraffe's hand. No, sorry, the giraffe or the hand. So 2. Film Coraline reference to a tea leaf reading. Tall, handsome stranger in your life, or treachery. So that's perfect analogy, metaphor, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, about what we're seeing here. It's like the tall, dark, handsome stranger is going to rescue me and show me my value, or am I going to be in this like treacherous sort of position because of the subconscious, and the treachery needs to be looked at. The treachery is the thing here that is what's calling upon this person to look at, not have to deal with dynamics in this connection, but the dynamic within themselves. 18 is also moon energy. Okay, Cancer, Pisces, and I'm feeling lots of Jupiter here, which is Sagittarius, Pisces as well. Okay, Taurus. And yeah, easy does it. So this is going to make this person's life a lot easier getting over this hump, but until then, it's like painful searching. It's like burning and turning, all this busy external work, validating, seeking, tormenting themselves with external relationship until they realize to go inwards, and it becomes so much easier for them. Acceptance from themselves becomes so much easier for them. So 79, and we have this match. So I just heard 1979. So it could be important here. Interesting, that's the year I was born. So this match is about an inspiration, something maybe that was like quick. And what I'm really getting here is like, this connection quickly lit up this person, like it was a match. Like this person was ready to just be thrown into this thing. And it was like gasoline that like set off this person to be on this intensity, and it just started. All they needed was this little spark of, I don't know, a spark of rejection, a spark of feeling like, I don't know, left out, or this confrontation or this breakup to like spark their ego, like for them to really see where their ego is lurking in the shadow. Because I feel this got this person all fired up here, Here's the fairy, so about magic and the power within them to like really manifest what they want is not going to be external. It's going to be from within them. And once they clear all this noise and this fear and all these subconscious things from running the show, then it's like they're consciously manifestors. They're consciously manifesting, and they become conscious manifestors of their reality. And so then they have more control. Okay, so this is what it means by like the law of attraction. It's like we can manifest in front of us and have sort of that when we're really conscious and aware. But when we're asleep and acting out a program, we're just manifesting more of the same sort of scarcity and lack. But we never really have a full control, but we can work with the universe when we're awake and clear and seeing through the eyes of awakened self, not through the eyes of the pain body. And that's what this person is going through here. Look, yeah, the shadow self, 28, and another 10. And I was feeling 1013, which is all about completions, ends of cycle, transformation. There's the Wheel of Fortune, which is cyclical behavior, potentially really stuck until they resolve this and close out the cycle with the world. So the shadow self, seeing through the shadow self, their own shadow, not this other person's shadow is like driving me nuts. Why this person can't give, or all of that stuff that we talked about has nothing to do with that at all. And here's the camera. And so the camera is really talking about past memories, past experiences. And so again, does the past exist? It's an experience we had. Absolutely. It doesn't diminish our experiences, but the past experience does not write in the slate of who we are if we don't make choices now based on past experiences. And so I feel like the past has been dictating this person's perception of this connection and of themselves and how they engage because of experiences of how they remember. And I feel like also practical parts coming through here. It's like this person misses you, or is like looking through pictures, or like, especially if you guys are broken up here. And it's like their connection to the loss of this connection, is what's really driving this person to get out of suffering, because this suffering is going to exist until this person recognizes their shadow. And their past experiences need to sort of be understood as just that, not a dictator of their value system structure, because as long as it's written in stone, that's what sets them up for suffering. And it's like, if we understand that other people should be loving, caring, compassionate, it's great. But when we have a twisted view in the present moment where we're dealing with other people who might have shadow, and we're saying, people are meant to be loving, compassionate, and giving in the same equal proportion, it's like it throws us up for a loop. It's like, no, who says they're supposed to be? What the reality is that people act out of shadow and trigger. And so if we're dealing with someone who also has shadow and trigger and abandonment wounds, that's how they're acting. That has nothing to do with their truth of, now I'm not valued, and now I'm not seen, and now I'm not appreciated, and now this is wrong, and this person's bad, and this whole thing's a conflict. And no. It's just holding up a mirror. That's all it is, a mirror. And I have a feeling this person was holding up a mirror to you to deal with your own ishness, which who knows what your lesson is, but I only see one person here. So this was intense. Pile number 1, I do feel this most likely resonated for the viewer, but if you think it's your person, then you think it's your person. But be very open, because again, we're not seeing what's in the shadow, and we think, yeah, that's my person. They're the ones. Really? Are they the ones, or are we just not seeing? Because this person's not seeing. And I have a feeling for some of you guys, you think something that's not true because we're still not seeing. Okay, and I don't think it's because we don't want to see it. This is in my future position. I think it's because that is the program to look in a certain direction or to close eye to it. The ego it could be easily triggered, and so it automatically just looks the other way or externally. Like there's a program that's on a very strong inertia. The ego is looking outwards and doing that because it's always done that. And it's like, we got to stop and get in front of it. Stop, look inside. That's all you got to do. Even if you feel you've overcome this, look inside. If you know you're not looking inside and you're constantly looking about this person, then you know that this is about you. Because you're not wanting to see. And there's always something to be looked at inside. Now, this doesn't mean perpetual healing. I'm never perfect. I got to keep on this train. It's like, no, we're already perfect and whole. But it's like, we need to connect and see. We see all these things about us, and we no longer feel shame or a need to validate. It's like we're okay with the imperfections. It's okay with not being loved by anyone out there. It's like, who cares? Like, really, who cares? Like, yes, it's in our tendency to not be isolated, but it's like the meaning of isolation, the meaning of being valued changes, is different. It's like, now I can hang out with people and bring different value. And that is enough for me to feel okay, because I found what I needed from within. My security and my strength. And I feel like at this point, then Spirit does deliver exactly what it is this person does deserve, because everyone deserves a partnership in some form or fashion. But it's not just going to come to them when they're sort of not healed and all full of their emotions and getting triggered, So yeah, now I'm done. Pile number 1. If you're drawn to another pile, I will see you there. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels, tarot Illuminati group. Wonderful. Let's get into your reading, shall we? We're looking at the person on your mind, this connection you came here about, and what it is that this person is realizing about themselves. Okay, this could definitely come reverse, meaning it'll be what you're realizing about yourself. If that's the case, you can certainly listen. Oh, I see a card here that might not belong. No. It might be about yourself, okay? And maybe we need to hear messages about ourselves. But if you want to hear about the person that you came here about, you may want to go check out another pile, okay? Listen to the intro. to get a little bit more clarity as to how this might go. You can crisscross energies as you see fit, and I will do my best to differentiate how many energies I see here. Although we are trying to take a look at the person you came here about and what is their realization about themselves, okay? I am asking for a recent realization that Spirit wants to show, and so hopefully we can get a gauge as to what their energy was before, but I don't know how this pulls through, okay? So very important you tap into your own intuition to know whether this is your person or your pile, okay? So clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2, person they came here about. What is their recent realization about themselves? Clear and concise message, spirits, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Pile 2, I'm so blessed to do your reading. I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at the person you came here about and what are their recent realizations about themselves. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection, Spirit. We see the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, 2 swords, strength, Leo energy, 8 swords. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. And we see the Star, Aquarius energy, 3 cups. Why is strength here, Spirit? Why is strength here? 5 cups. Bottom of the deck energy, we have the 8 of Pentacles. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse. Under 8 Pentacles, we have the Page of Wands. Okay. So some of you guys could definitely be dealing with an earth sign here is pulling through quite strong. Like I said, there is Leo and Aquarius energy as well. Those seasons could be significant. You might have met this person at work. For some of you guys, that is coming through, but not necessarily, okay? So let's see. We're going to pull some oracles in regards to what has pile number 2. Let's call you pile 1. Might be a connection. Pile 2 recently realized about themselves. Pile 2's recent realizations. I'm feeling one more of these. Pile 2's person, recent realizations about themselves. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Pile 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2, spirits. Thank you so much. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 2 will understand. Thank you so much, spirits. Pile 2's person they came here about. What are their recent realizations about themselves? What are they coming to realize about themselves? Feeling that one. We want another one? I do feel one more. I always say I'm only going to pull 3 cards, you know, and then somehow the triangulation. Yikes. Dookie dookie. Let's move these, and then we'll pull these buttons kind of at the end if I remember. Now, if I forget, just sort of come back to the ending. I'll stick it in there somehow, okay? Because I might forget. So, triangulation and the bubble. My goodness. Every time I read these cards, this bubble comes out. And I just got these cards. Like every reading I've used, these bubble comes out. So this is kind of like a reverse hangman, but it could be like narcissistic sort of tendency to be very fixed in our own mindset. Okay, and the triangulation is like how it's also a narcissistic sort of energy, although we don't necessarily know we're doing it. I mean, narcissists may not know as well, but it's like we use other people to sort of justify our own suffering in some way here, you know, to like, let's say, for example, there's like, you have a boss and then you have a coworker, and it's like, all of a sudden it's like you don't like this coworker and you sort of have an agenda in some way, you know, and it's like you'll use your boss to like paint a picture of that coworker so that your boss can do like the dirty work, for example, you know, it's like that sort of an energy. Okay, but like hints of that, again, that comes through very pointed, but not necessarily what's going on here. So let's see. Yeah, the shapeshifter. So we're getting Capricorn energy, which pulled through with the Queen of Pentacles here. Like I said, Earth was coming through strong. This is Capricorn energy with the Devil with 15, shapeshifter, and then we have the Orphan. So number 5. 5 is a heavy number. Conflict, loss, change, rebuild. So some Taurus energy and some Sagittarius energy coming through. Orphan can definitely be feeling abandoned or unseen, misunderstood in some way. We have bipolarity, manic depression, borderline instability, versatility, inconstancy, emotional imbalance, mental tendency, stress level 58, or the number 4. 4 is giving me Emperor energy, Aries. Okay, manic depression, borderline. Oh, I just read all that. Sorry. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance. Self-love, 87. For 9 and 6, it says appeasement, plenitude, trust, maturity, quietude, and relaxation. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. Integration, growth level. And we have hypercreativity, 83, 4 and 2. So more Aries, Pisces energy. I'm also getting some Gemini and some Virgo energy here. Accepting one's emotions, existing by oneself, originality, resourceful, standing out, self-knowledge. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. And we have work, which this is the work card here. Interesting. 106, essence, growth level. Work, realism, effort, task, duty, labor, working on oneself. So 7, Cancer energy coming through. 7 is all about faith, wisdom, reflection, and understanding. Type 7, the enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. And we have the bully. Light attributes highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow attributes conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Every time I pull this card, I always say this. If you are experiencing someone who is abusive emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, in any sort of way here, this isn't the type of reading I'm endorsing at all, okay? And so abuse happens in many different forms and fashions, and there's a lot of help in these situations, okay? I'm going to read energy exactly as it comes up. And so if there is this going on, I'm not saying justify it. I'm just going to be reading what I see here, okay? And I do encourage, if you are experiencing this, to go get help. Priest, light attributes, facilitates spiritual commitment, serves a channel of spiritual energy. Shadow attributes, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. And we have the child magical. Interesting because we have the orphan here. Light attributes, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Shadow attributes, pessimism, depression, disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and actions are not required for growth. Okay, let me sit here with this energy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Okie dokie. What's under this? 6 of Pentacles. Yeah, Badoo. Okay. Where do I begin with this person? My goodness. So, what's this person coming to realize? I think you'll know who this person is because a lot of how they are is coming through here. And I think it's being revealed to them, obviously, with this type of reading, what I asked. So, just try to stay with me. This might go very fast or very confusing for a little bit, okay? This person is somebody here who does have a lot of narcissistic type tendencies. And if you follow me, I never, ever call anyone a narcissist. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this person has a strong tendency here. Okay. Which is really about being very much not caring about other people so much, you know, and it's not because they're incapable of caring and love. It's because this person has some dysfunction within them that needs to sort of be dealt with, sat with, and looked at about themselves, which I feel like is being sort of highlighted by this disappointment, which we'll get into. Okay, because this person has an understanding and a viewpoint that that they're fixated on because the reality of what they've experienced has proven to them and reflected back to them this to be true. And so I do feel like this person is a little bit of a bully. It's like my way or the highway, or they are like, say certain things that could be very, not very pleasant here and create a lot of suffering. And I feel like this person almost uses whatever they can, however they can, to get what they want, which again is very much this sort of narcissistic type energy, because it's like not really caring about the consequences and the karmas and all this stuff. So I do feel like this person is a little bit like two-faced when it comes with who they're dealing with, what they need to say and do to sort of fit in the moment to get the most out of what it is that they're wanting. So if they have a private agenda of what they need or how they want to be validated or propped up or whatever a value is to them, then they're going to do and use whoever and whatever by any means to do this. And if they don't, they sort of use aggression. It's like I feel this person is fairly aggressive, and they could be a little bit like my way or highway, or like even we might see that this person might feel very misunderstood in some capacity, or there's a need for this person to be loved, and it's like this inner child that really we could see is just reaching out. And so I feel like maybe you connect with this person because you see this sort of side of this person that's like, oh, maybe I can give them love, or I could make them see that they don't have to be all like forcing these things, or like love does exist, good things can come to them, like believe in miracles again. Like, don't be so pessimistic, don't be so trapped in this negative cloud, because I do feel like there's a negative cloud here following this person. Then they really, really believe or feel it's like the more they sort of control themselves in this way, or assert themselves in an aggressive fashion, then they can sort of dissipate these clouds and like have their way and have control and get what they want. And it's like actually the opposite is true. And so I feel like this touches a little bit on this, but because this reading isn't going in that direction about this person's spiritual growth, I feel like there's something in regards to this person really learning a huge spiritual lesson here about karma and about seeing this way of being. And I guess this is what's being revealed, although I don't see that this person has fully seen the depths of this. I feel like something has happened, which we'll get into again, between you and this person, or something that is making this person feel bad. And when we feel bad, we start to suffer. And when we suffer long enough and there's no way out, we have to hold a mirror to ourselves. And I feel like this is what this person's journey is on. Now, I don't know where they're at in this sort of journey part, but this is what they're being shown, because I feel like there's a spiritual lesson of sorts where it's like a higher devotion to something greater than what's happening in the 3D. Because if we were just focused on the 3D, what we get, what we see, life would be fairly just like flat and dull. And even if you say, well, this person's an atheist anyway, and they don't believe in something higher or whatever like that, it's like, well, they will soon. And it doesn't mean that everyone has to believe in Jesus Christ or God in that fashion, or Buddha or whatever the thing is here. But it's like a higher purpose and something of a different energy, rather than just dog eat dog and get them before they get me. And life sort of sucks here. And here I am in my gray cloud. Like, this is how it's being painted, Now, whether this person is that much in a negative energy, I don't know, only but it's painted like this for me to be able to read it, because I do feel like this person uses whatever at their means. And I feel like when they do this, it's like, who is this person then? They're too busy defending and fighting and trying to upkeep some material world, that the true version of who this person truly is, once they stop all of this, is underneath this thing, and really it's like a child here that might have been neglected, or might have been misunderstood, or felt very alone and unloved. And so it's like this person is really just validating their own beliefs of how the world is cruel or mean or unjust in some way, and other people are like this too, and everyone's out to get it for themselves. This is reverse hangman, which is Pisces energy, and like I said, Capricorn energy pulling through here, and we have some Taurus also coming through. So now this person is needing to love themselves, just like any narcissist. I mean, anyone, doesn't matter. People need to learn about self-love, and not through words of affirmation. Oh, I love me, I'm so beautiful, I'm going to go take a bubble bath, and I'm going to give myself a foot massage, and now I feel better in self-love, and I'm going to put me first and go to that hockey game instead of, spending an evening with my wife. That's not self-love. Boop, 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 boop. Erase it, erase it, erase it. What is self-love talking about here? It's talking about really doing the shadow work and looking at the bully aspect and this creation that they made of this identity of themselves, that's actually a defense mechanism here that's getting in the way of their truest self. And when they see their truest self, they'll fall in love with their truest self. But it's like, I don't love my truest self because there might be shame, there might be guilt, there might be an experience here where I felt bad or abandoned, and now I've locked that up, put it in a room inside my energy body, and there it sits. And now I act out in all sorts of ways. And it's like, this person needs to sit with that part of themselves, love that part of themselves, understand themselves. I don't feel this person understands themselves at all. I also feel like this person might have, if you guys want to know who this person is, I mean, if this isn't resonating, then definitely not your pile, but I feel like this person might have an outlet that they use here, but I feel like it's like where most of their energy really goes. And this came through my channel a few like readings in a bit, like, but I feel it's a little bit overboard, you know. And I mean, we could follow our passion, like, I know, because, well, it doesn't really matter, but it's like when we get really knee deep in what we're passionate about, we can lose hours and hours and hours. But I feel like this person uses this as an outlet, as a distraction form. And so like they paint and paint and paint and paint, or sing, or listen to music, or like avoid, you know. But it's like, but also it's like this unhealthy like passion about it, where it's like, it's unhealthy because it's like borderline the extent of what it is that's reaching out and crying to be seen within them is like, you know. And it's good to pour our energy into things like creative pursuits and all of this, but I feel like this person has like an advocacy about something as well, or have like it's like an unhealthy attachment with it, like, oh, this, I don't know, like art is my world, and like condemn anyone who like doesn't feel this way, you know, or whatever, like music, or like this this, like if they're an advocate about something, it's like day and night, like anyone who opposes this thing is like, you know, like the devil incarnate. Like it's an unhealthy attachment to that source, because that is the only part of their self-expression that's coming out authentically. Okay, but it's still not understood by them. And so if that gets cut off, you know, because you might wonder, like, why is this person so attached to that thing or whatever, unhealthily, or overdoing it in some way? It's because that's the, like I say, the only part of themselves there that has that is being seen and recognized in a way here externally. But it's crying to be seen and acknowledged in a different way, in a different format. Some of you guys, this definitely could even be work, because I feel work here. Okay, but I feel like this is also talking about the need for the working on one's self is like at a max here. And because of the nature of this reading, which is what is this person sort of coming to realize about themselves, is like the self-work is always going to be there. The self-work is always required, no matter whether, you know, like what's going on out there. It whatever goes on out there is always going to be turning and burning and shifting and changing. And so if they keep experiencing like people who want to take and people who are bad, or like whatever that is, it's like, it doesn't really sort of matter, because even when people are good, then the self-work is still eminent. And so what I'm getting here intuitively, which you guys, for some of you guys, this might resonate. It's like, you weren't coming into this person's world to take and be aggressive and prove they're great cloud, and when they're selfish and mean and say mean things and act out and nobody loves me and whatever, and you're just here giving them love, being accepting, validating them, nurturing them, caring to them. Then it's like, what? The world isn't dark? What? Like, you're not mirroring this back to me, this belief of what I have always seen. And so then there's like this understanding is sort of clicking. It's like, there is something here that I need to do self-work on, because maybe did it ever occur to me that I'm the problem? Because up until now, this person never occurred to them that they're the problem, you know? And I do feel like this might have created a lot of challenge in their world. Like having this way of being created a lot of depression, them being, you know, like unstable in their world. Like I don't feel like this person has a lot of stability. And if they do have stability, because I'm seeing 4 here, it's like a stagnancy. It's like very stagnant. I can't move on from this sort of stability that I do have. But it's an unhealthy sort of relationship I have with this stagnancy. And I can get easily emotionally off balance here, because it's like, even though this person might seem like assertive, aggressive, and I get my way and I force my way and I'm controlling, it's like the minute something sort of doesn't go that way, because again, we don't control, the universe controls, and it's just an illusion. And so all of a sudden it's like we see a reality that we couldn't control. It's like, oh, this person has an emotional breakdown or an emotional outburst. It's like emotional irregulation. Yeah, emotional imbalance. And so I feel like this person might have had, this is coming through, they might have shared with you, or you might know of, like a turbulent childhood, like uprooted. Maybe it was uprooted. Maybe they are like a foster child, or like someone who's missing a parent, even, who lost both parents, or lost a parent, or felt never really seen or loved by a parent, or, moved schools, moved countries, lost friends. Like it was maybe fairly unstable. Is that a word? They experienced some form of instability. Okay. And so this might have created a lot of stress, and so now there's this need to control. Because when I control this, then I feel more secure. I feel more safe. I feel like I'm not going to be abandoned in some way here, because I have the power and the control, who comes in and who comes out, But there's such a negative pessimism here, and a depression, because we're experiencing like, no one understands me like my art. No one understands me like my dog, or whatever, Not have anything wrong with pets, but I feel people have an unhealthy relationship with their pets when they're like, this is my person. It's like, okay, there, I get it. We can have that bond, but anyway, I digress. That's just me. So this person does go, have a side of them, okay, that's like, nobody can control me, and I'm wild, and I sort of go and I'm doing my thing, and I explore. But I feel like this person's exploring is like this naive side of them that wants to come out, that wants to experience certain things and thrills. But I feel like there's an immaturity here to this person, because I feel like this person has a hard time taking accountability. I also feel like this person might be a taker, so you might have experienced like an imbalance sort of connection here, because I feel like this person doesn't know how to give unless there's something they're receiving or taking from the connection. And so I feel like this person could definitely be very limited by this way, because really, even though it's all about control and having the power and all of this stuff, it's like there's a dependency on the material world going a certain way. And so they might be very dependent on, this is showing up as a Queen of Pentacles here, because I do feel for a lot of these people, it's like, I don't know, maybe they have like an already structure set up where you could see the dependency that this person has on like how they get their money, or who's paying for their home, or like how they're like, there's something ungrown about this person and making it on their own. And so it's like, yeah, my parents pay for my thing, and there's nothing wrong with that, when I'm getting on her feet or whatever. But I feel like there's a need for this person to take accountability and grow up in their world and be a little bit more on their feet and responsible. But it's like, there's a dependency. It could be on the government assistance here, but it's like, it's fine if you're on government assistance, but it's like, this is what is the only thing. And I don't have any need to push outside of that thing. So I feel like this person has like this with this Page of Wands and this Three of Cups, it's like a party now, in the moment of being this free spirit of party now, party now, party now. But the minute something goes sort of off, it's like this person then gets their back up in some way. And it's like, I don't know, like anyone here in their world that justifies and upkeeps this protected, then they'll hang out with it. So maybe they have a group of friends or people that they like to hang out with and drink with and party with or whatever, or just their environment of the people that they grew up with or have around them are supporting this behavior. And so as long as people support it, I let them in my circle and I have fun with them and I party with them, or I do what they do with them. But if they contradict this sort of thing, then I feel challenged and I get my back up here, So I do feel like this person might have this like short-term sort of syndrome here, where it's like what's going on right now, what I'm partying right now, and there's nothing wrong with being in the present moment. But this is when we are understanding that our programming and what we're running from isn't running the show, and what they're running from is themselves. And it's like the difficult time projecting a future that they could want to live and have and be happy and successful. And it's like difficult for this person to align themselves with this and make decisions and choices. And so maybe with this connection, it's like this person couldn't choose to talk about the future, or couldn't make a decision that was clear about the future, and they might have wanted to keep it casual, see how things go, or let's just stay friends, or let's just be in the present moment, or whatever this thing is. And it's like, yeah, it's great in the present moment, but not when we're sort of avoiding ourselves. And so this person is, so for a lot of you guys, how you'll know, I think in your connection, this person was avoidant. This person didn't want to progress things, wasn't talking about the future. They don't seem like they have a lot of future ambitions here. And there's a need for them to step into their courage, to really face their fear, which is this part of themselves that's really in the shadow, crying to be held and seen, that's being guarded by this bully, controlling person. And I feel like this is being reflected to this person by a loss, because I feel like they sat on it, or they didn't decide on you. And now all of a sudden it's like there's this sadness here, looking back on sadness, having to find something within them. And this type of an ego is like, what I say goes, and I am strong, and I have control. And so could you imagine someone with an ego here who thinks that they're really controlling and how they say it goes, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, like I can't avoid that. I feel sad or upset about what I did. And so now let's see how tough this tough guy is in some capacity, because it's like the real warrior, the real strength comes from facing our biggest fear and our biggest shadow, which is calling this person to do this. But I feel for you guys, this person is on the precipice, because I don't feel like this person is still looking at that. I feel like this person is still crying over this connection. And so this is why it's important here. If this person hasn't decided, it's like, where are you in this dynamic? Are you like keeping this person in this sort of state of perpetual support of delusion up? Celebrating with this person, drinking with this person, hanging out with this person, like there's nothing wrong with having unconditional love of someone, but unconditional love of someone would tell them the truth in a way. It's like, hey brother, see yourself, see yourself. Like you're cutting yourself off at the knees. You're capable of more. You're dependent on something here, and you're running from self. That's an honest truth. That's unconditional love. Maybe it doesn't come out in that way, but it's like, give this person that in which there is going to free them and help them. Now we can't force them to do it, and we don't know what this person's journey is, and whether this person's journey was to see this or not to see this, and it's not our job to tell them this either. But I feel like whatever they're experiencing here is a loss and a sadness and a regret from an indecision that is impacting their future. And I think the future of you and this person and this connection. And it's like, this person might want to sit with, but I wanted to celebrate and have them in my network of friends. That might be where they're at, until reality sort of slaps this person. It's like something is going to have to make this person sort of, suffer enough for them to then really, like, the ego get triggered. Because I feel like this person is the type of person, if they see it, they're not going to shy away. Like if they really see it, they're not going to shy away, because they want to prove themselves. This is the type of person that really has the big ego, and they really think that they could succeed and have control and outcome in their way that they can manipulate it. And so it's like, if they see themselves here as like suffering and all this stuff, it's like, I'm going to do what I can here, because I could face anything, but then when it's really, really integrated into like the fear of like seeing our darkest corner, we avoid it at all costs. And so it just has to become conscious to this person. And then I feel is a massive tower moment. But as long as it's sort of still in the shadow, it's like the defense mechanism of protecting this is still in play. And I feel like this is what's still in play. I feel like with triangulation and this Three of Cups, some of you guys could have been in a third party, but it's about how this person utilizes other people to justify and prop up this unhealthy dynamic they have of themselves. And also, if it's not another person or their group of people, it's this thing, this unhealthy relationship they have with this creative thing that they're pouring into, which again, like I keep saying, it's not about not being creative and pouring our heart and soul and passion into it. It's like trying to identify where that's coming from, because there's an inner child that's really driving this whole thing, that's trying to be expressed and seen and acknowledged and integrated and loved, because it can't be unhealthy. And for others of you guys, it's work. I do feel, it's like work, work, work. And it's like, look at what I'm accomplishing. And it's like this thing that's like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense here because this person is unhappy. So it's like you could work to the bone and you're still unhappy here. So this person doesn't trust other people because they don't trust themselves. It's all a big projection. And why don't they trust themselves? Because they're not even connected to that part of themselves. They are the ones who pull the rug. They're the ones to step over other people or do this or shapeshift in certain ways. And so it's like, if I do this, then other people do this too. So of course they're not going to trust other people to do the right thing, or because they aren't doing the right thing, So this person has to work on being a little bit more mature. And yeah, so I feel like this person also has a big lie here in regards to their capability or their capacity to actually be okay on their own, which they're not telling themselves. And again, like I already mentioned this, like if they're like dependent on like government assistance or like my parent or something here that's upkeeping this dependency that they have in their world, because it's like if that gets pulled from them, they truly are seeing a deficiency within their ability to like step up and do that. But it's not coming from a place of them being humble and saying, no, I really wouldn't be able. It's like they're not wanting to admit that there's something they can do to be more accomplished or to get out of this sort of dependent dynamic that they have. They're not wanting to see it, but they could free themselves of it. It's like this person wants to keep status quo, wants to keep in the blind, because this would require them not to be accountable to this shadow self. It would require them to like look at this and it's like, no, I'd rather just keep things as they are. And so they really fight to keep things as they are, light, exploring, not giving. And if this environment doesn't give to me or prop me up or make me feel, then I go wander into some other one that does, and so on and so forth. And so I feel like this type of energy too would be somebody who might seem like, when you're like supporting that part of themselves that they use as a defense mechanism, like I said, like their creative thing, like liking their music or their world, or like acknowledging that face that they're putting out, it's like they could be very maybe loving, or very accommodating, or seem very interested and open. And then the minute you bring out any part of that in which they're not seeing of themselves, then I think there's the bipolarity, because then I think this evil side comes out. Now, we're not evil, but it's like the side that's like says mean things and like all of a sudden becomes abusive, aggressive, bully, like, whew. So yeah, but I know we didn't touch too much on the spiritual part, but I do feel like this person is learning about something greater, deeper, bigger than just this in which it is that they're experiencing here. And that's what this is being explained and shown to this person. But really where they're at is like suffering a loss here about, sitting on the fence and not taking action and leaning into this courage part of themselves. So I feel like the best way for this person to have this sort of lesson shown to them is like when this ego side of them can't deny what it is that they're seeing and challenges them to confront something, because this person is going to confront, like when people are calling them out, because it's like prove my ability to do this. But it's like really there's like this what's it called, dichotomy going on, because this is probably one of the more weaker people ever, because they run at the first sight of anyone cracking open the side of them. It's like, nope. Like they get angry or they get defensive, or like, it's like, it's very fragile. But on the outside, it's like strong appearance and like, but the fragility behind this is like these two worlds. It's so fascinating, bless you, pile number 2. I don't know who this person is, but you'll definitely know, because I do feel like they've been a thorn in your side here, and Spirit is really coming through with this part of like the suffering of a loss, which is the only place that they can really sit in order for them to acknowledge truths here, because at the core of this, there's this beautiful inner child that wants to be seen and loved. And I feel like you've seen and loved this inner child. And I feel like maybe you're very spiritually connected to this person, whether it's a family member, a lover, or whatever this is here. But it's like, no matter what you say, it's like this person is really, really fixated on their point of view of how they are perceiving themselves and the world around them, so much so that it's creating the biggest suffering here. So I love you guys very much. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Pile 2, I knew I was going to forget your buttons. Let's pull you some buttons here, okay? So just to get some context here. So we have this Couch Potato. So like I said, there's some part. Remember I saw the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here? It's like they're giving away their power to, I don't know, they're dependent on something. Like this person could be needing to trust themselves and have a little bit more ambition and confidence in their ability to rely on themselves, But we see this Couch Potato. So they're sleeping on themselves. They're sleeping on this connection. Like I said, word, hanging on every word, 33. 33 is a master number. It's about reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. I do feel like this person takes what you say into consideration very strongly. And this could be why this is coming through here, because I do feel like that 5 of Cups we were seeing in your person's like regrets and looking back is like they really are significantly impacted by how you've been involved with this person. Again, a lot of you guys spiritually, and it's like what you say really has an impact on me. It really, really does. And so whether they're showing it or not, it's like your words and your engagement with this person will have an impact on them. It's not that you're forcing it. It's that your involvement here makes this person really sort of see things differently. Easy does it. So this came out for pile 1, but this is all about like, not going against morality, like resisting and fighting and trying to control. It's like this person is really, what they're learning here is about, like when I don't fight and resist, things go a lot smoother. I end up getting what I want and a lot happier here when I'm just not in resistance, because control is a form of resistance here, trying to go against what is. And here we have I don't know, this is like, what is this, like a silo? Like I was gonna say a milk silo, but what is this, number 4? Oops. This says the water tower, saving up for something big. I feel like something's been building up over time, and something big is about to shift, and I'm getting tower energy. So it's like the bigger the ego, the bigger the fall. And I think things have been stacking up in this person's world. Like all of these things that they've been trying to control, trying to be, it's like building up, building up, building up, building up. And there's that 4 again, like we said. So it's like they're stagnant and they have a form of stability in their world that they're comfortable with, the comfort zone. But when the tower falls, it's like the reality will hit this person. Here's the camera, which is all about memories. And I feel like this person is really driven by a lot of the past impacts of who this person has been made to believe that they are. This person is missing you for sure with the 5 cups in this camera. I do feel a lot of you guys might be in no contact with this person, for most of you guys, but not necessarily. And look, the dice, 57, so about taking a chance, risking. I feel like this person is needing to take a chance on themselves. And I feel there's so much fear in trusting themselves. It's like they need control. That this is the opposite of control. Like, I'm just going to sort of let it fly. And that's what that 2 energy, like we're seeing the Page of Wands, which is very carefree, see where I go, the 3 cups. It seems very like in the moment. I just sort of, I don't take things to heart, very light-hearted. And I could go wherever the wind blows, which is kind of fool energy. It's this risk energy. But no, I feel this person is opposite from that. And so they're doing that. Okay, but it's like to a point, because the minute that world doesn't reflect back to them that safety or that comfort or that stability or that security, or reinforce that part, if it starts to show a part of themselves, then it's like this person needs to control, and that's when they get angry and they get all those things that we talked about. And so I feel like they have to relinquish control in order to be happy. And this is what they're learning. It's like they can't either get you back or they can't make a change here. And they're just going to cry over spilt milk about what they didn't do and what they are sitting here with. What they're sitting here with is a 3 cups and a Page of Wands energy, which isn't fulfilling. No matter how much they want to slice and dice this up to be fulfilling, it's not. Yeah, lemon, sour. So this person could have a sour attitude and be very soured, and maybe even soured that you left them, and it's like, let them go through this phase of being soured or upset or whatever. It's like I said, unconditional love. Well, love this person and just tell them the truth and be like, yo, like, because I love you, I see this sort of thing within you, and maybe you did tell them and now they're all upset about this thing. But I feel like we have to accept the sour in life. We can't control the sour in life. So this person has a need to control, and it's all about protecting that part in which they don't want seen. And so the more control they have, the more they think they're defending it. And no. So these are your buttons. Okay. Sorry. Hopefully you guys didn't skip and you guys got to see this. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Pile number 3, you guys picked the Mystical Realm Tarot for your pick. We're going to take a look at the person you came here about and what is their realizations about themselves. Okay, so hopefully this is a recent realization that they're having about themselves, but sometimes it might pull through as, just like more than one from who knows when, but we are asking for a recent realization that pile number 3's person is having about themselves right here, right now. Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. So this might come reversed, meaning it's going to be your energy. If that's the case, you can go check out another pile. You can listen to this message if you'd like. Sometimes I get blended energies. You'll have to determine who is who and attribute who is who. Okay, I might get it wrong. But don't force messages to fit. Okay, so clear and concise message in regards to pile number 3, person that came here about. What is their recent realizations about themselves? Clear and concise message, spirits. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 3 will understand. Thank you so much, spirits. I'm so blessed to be here doing this reading. Now, if I forget to pull your buttons, just sort of go to the end of the video and I'll insert it there, because I almost forgot for pile 2. I had to insert them. If you went to pile 2 and you didn't see it, it is there, okay? Or it should be there. Let's pull the oracles as well. Pile number 3's person and their recent realizations about themselves. What are these recent realizations? What are they coming to understand about themselves, spirits? Clear and concise message. I will pull the one that revealed itself. It says victimization. We'll read them shortly. Resignation. I do feel there's one more. Pile number 3's person and their realization about themselves. Okay, we have anesthesia and truth. Wow. Let's pull some of these. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. We have the destroyer. What is pile 3's person coming to realize? One more about themselves. Clear and concise message. Pile 3's person, they're coming to realize about themselves. And finally, this oracle here. What is pile 3's person coming to realize about themselves? Okay. Move those out of our way. So we have Destroyer here, card number 23, or the number 5. 5 is all about challenge, conflict, loss, change, and rebuild. We have Victimization 76, number 4 and 2. So we have Aries, Pisces energy. It says aggressive complaints, irresponsibility, whining, addiction, guilting others, excessive emotions. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance, disintegration, stress level. Victimization, okay. Resignation. 72, number 9. 9 is Cancer, Pisces, and Virgo energy here. Getting Hermit energy. This person could definitely be an introvert. I'm getting a lot of introverted energy here. Collective plague, stress level, resignation, feeling helpless, immobilism, fatalism, surrender, submission, renunciation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Defense mechanism 36, ego level 9. So self-disconnection, insensitivity, numbness, obscuration, stupefaction, self-forgetfulness. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Lots of solar plexus energy here. I feel there might be a lack of self-confidence here. And we have 107, essence, growth level, truth, straightforwardness, straightness, trustworthy, lawful, realty, objectivity, compassion. Number 8. 8 is strength, which is Leo energy. A lot of the yellow again, egos coming through here. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. 107. Okay, so I'm getting Aquarius energy, Leo, Virgo, Cancer, Pisces. Okay, and Aries. So we have Fool, Aquarius energy, light attributes, fearlessly revealing emotions, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. Shadow attributes, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. And we have Shapeshifter. Wow, Shapeshifter came out for pile 2. It says light attributes, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Shadow attributes, projecting an image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. We have means to an end attitude 74, or the number 11. 11 is a master number, divine inspiration, the synchronicities, and the encouragement to keep going. And we have self-harm. Oh my goodness, 68. 14, which is temperance, Sagittarius energy, getting drinking here as well. Okay, so we have 7 cups, drinking again. It keeps coming through here. 7 cups is the card of illusion, fantasies. I need to choose. Under that, we have the Queen of Wands. Wow, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, passion, fire, magnetism. I have a feeling that might be your energy here. Okay, so Sun, Leo energy, very strong. Sun is certainty, clarity. 4 Pentacles, comfort zone. Could be the miserly card, hanging on to the abundance we have, thinking it's abundance, but it's maybe at the risk of growth, staying in the comfort zone. It's holding back or holding on too tight to a situation, circumstance. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Page of Cups. Okay. And we have the Page of Wands. So 2 pages here. This person could be younger than you, but I feel it's more indicative of this person's maturity level, especially when it comes to feelings. Okay, Page of Wands is in reverse here. And we have the Queen of Pentacles, Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy. Okie dokie. Wow, this message just come through very strong as well. But let me just... I want to read this Destroyer, although I want to channel first. I'm not really influenced so much here. But let me see, because I don't know. 23. I might as well read it, and then we will get into the channeling. So, because then I'll forget. And I feel there's something here that's... It says the savage, the unexpected, and the rejected. Yeah. The Destroyer, the final of the 3 archetypes in this trio of existence, has necessary yet painful work to do in the world. Culturally, we have an aversion to endings and we hang on to permanence as a signifier of success, yet the destroyer pulls the rug out from underneath relationships, jobs, homes, and all forms of security. It's the part of us that wants things. It's the part of us that wants things to end. It's painful. Orientation is to uncover our true purpose. The destroyer does not let us linger in comforts, as it knows not much happiness in that realm, but its piercing eyes, it seeks out stagnancy from a distance, and rest becomes history. The old myths of this is the moment when heads begin to roll, the ground opens up, and the castles crumble. Hold on for the ride, the destroyer has arrived. When light, swift and precise, blows that redirect our life. When dark, self-destruction, negativity, unwillingness to rebuild. Okay. Oh, wow. Pile number 3. This message is coming through very, very loud and clear here, okay? I don't know where this person is at within their journey of this whole thing, but I feel like this connection is coming to show this person, which is the title of this thing. You know, what are they coming to realize? But I don't know where on their scale they're at, but this is going to be in their realization, which is about how this person copes. Because there's integrated beliefs here about themselves that isn't healthy, and it's creating all sorts of havoc in their world. Okay, now this comes through very pointed and direct. It could be on any scale here, but I am getting from the extreme of really, really being distracted with things that are harmful, drugs, sex, rock and roll, whatever this is. Alcoholism was really coming through here, like drinking, numbing themselves, getting very distracted. Now, if it's not substances in that way, I mean, there's a lot of vices we can use. Like I said, sex, drugs, rock and roll, whatever it is. This person disconnects from themselves because they're hurting. Okay, they're really hurting here. Now, if they're not on that sort of degree, then it's like very mundane and routine and very stagnant here. It's a world that they created that's safe for them. It's so safe, but it's harmful because there hasn't been a change. And this person is refusing to move forward. So they could be literally like Peter Pan syndrome, It's like, I don't want to grow up and I'm still doing the same thing from like when I was 16. Like it's to the point where it's like it's impacting their growth in their life. And so there's this world opening up for this person to accept change and take chances in their world that will be blessing for them. Like it'll lead to good things, but good things, like would require them to take a chance on like experiencing. And I feel like this person has been either burnt in the past in some situation that's really impacted their confidence and trust. And so I feel like this person is very pessimistic. Oh, it's not going to work out, It's like this person has a very negative mindset about how things would work out, or how they're always going to be at the outs anyway, or it's all going to not work out and that sort of thing. And I feel like this person just really lacks the confidence to succeed at things. And I don't know if it's like, because we're not seeing, again, the subconscious part of this, why this is like this, but it could have a lot to do with the upbringing and being told like, oh, don't do that, or we're not good enough, or feeling like we're not good enough, or trying to impress a parent that never really maybe validated us or made us feel like we were, doing the right thing here. So I feel like this person just doesn't try when there's any sort of idea that they might not be successful, or that they might have to go through learning pains or experiences. Like, nope, then I just don't try it, And so their whole life became this thing of not trying anything sort of new, including potentially this connection, which I feel is for a lot of you guys, which we'll get into with the tarot here. But I do feel like this person has a need to become a little bit more flexible with experience rather than shutting it out, and rather than going to the default, which they always do. And I feel like it's very difficult to even deal with someone when they're really distracted. And so I feel this person's become very numb, and almost to the point where they're disconnected from themselves. Like, obviously, if they have these vices that they're using that are creating this sort of under the influence, then it's almost like, how can you bring this person to reality? But even if, let's say, they're not using something under the influence, it's like they're so numb, they almost seem uncaring, or they almost seem disconnected from any hurts that they might be creating to people around them, including you, because I feel this person is used to being hurt themselves. So it's like they're used to disappointing themselves or disappointments. And it's like, I'm just going to let you down anyway. I'm useless, or I'm like, it might not be to that degree, but this is the type of energy that's coming through here, you know? It's like I've already gave up before I've even got started here in some way. And it's like this person needs to be more loving and compassionate to themselves, and trust that there's an ability within them to have success, but they have to like trust themselves in this way, you know? And I feel like this person is like really has a low self-worth. That's all I say. It's like how they see themselves is like in one light, and then they like don't like themselves. And so I do feel like this person puts themselves in situations where it's like not good for them. Like physically, I feel like this person might be somebody who indulges in things here that are like compromising their physical health, spiritual health, emotional health. And I feel like this person, when it comes to emotion specifically, this is where the house is that needs to be looked at, because I feel like this person doesn't want to feel. They don't want to feel their emotions. I feel like this person's a little bit irresponsible as well, like immature, you know? And it's like to be mature would be to face their emotions and sit with that. And it's like this person would rather numb themselves and distract themselves than sit with their emotions. And so I feel like this connection has been very stagnant or very stuck in some capacity. And this person's been very blocked, not letting you in this world, blocking their heart, or hanging on to this comfort zone world that they've been very, like keeping as their safety, so that they don't have to deal with emotions, so they don't have to step outside of this world. And so it's difficult to engage with this person in this world, because we could feel very a wall up between us and them, because we're shut out, but we can't sort of also maybe move forward, because I do feel like this person might be hanging on to this connection in some capacity, because I do feel like this person is really pulled by your beauty and your confidence and the thing here in which this person is trying to be shown. So what are they realizing here? It's like realizing through your beauty and your magnetism, and you're probably somebody who makes shit happen here. Confident, like savvy. You manifest. And it's like this person didn't believe in like a manifestation here of anything, because it's like, we don't have any control over this. Like, it's just not going to go to shit anyway. Like, I have no power here. I have no confidence here in any of that. And it's like seeing you confident, seeing you sort of do all this. It's like, it's possible for me. Like, I don't think they're saying that just yet, but this is like the thing is like they're having to be shown their truth, that yes, it's possible for you to manifest. Yes, it's possible for you to find happiness. And finding happiness means we're going to have to come out of our comfort zone, because I feel like even to engage with you has been this person coming out of their comfort zone. And so they've been hesitant, stuck at times. And it's like, I don't even want to move outside of where I don't feel safe. It's like, I don't want to explore this connection any further here. And I feel like there might be like a dependence on self, because it's like the minute I depend on anything outside of this, it's like I'm giving away that part in which makes me feel very uncomfortable. And so I do feel like this person is used to doing things themselves, which is great. There's nothing wrong with doing things ourselves. But when we're hyper independent and we block people out and say, no, I have to do this like myself without letting anyone in, it's like a fear of working with others and experiencing different, like different sort of avenues here in order to have different experiences that would bring us bigger blessings and have us sort of step outside of this world. Because I feel like your connection here with this person would allow this person to experience warmth and big blessings. And so I feel like this person uses you in a way here that keeps them in a dream state of, in this faraway land. Pile 3 would be my fantasy person. It's like, why is that a fantasy? But it is a fantasy because I'm not good enough, or I'm not capable. I'm not ready here yet, because I'm still in this world and I'm self-sabotaging. I'm destructive. And I feel this person is very destructive to themselves and could have been very destructive to this connection and really like treating you the same way that they would treat themselves. And so we could either take defense to it because this person doesn't treat themselves very good. But it's like, what do we take defense to it when we can see through? And I feel you can see through that this person treats themselves in this way. So why would we expect them to treat us any different than they treat themselves? But this person is in a world of fantasy, illusion, distraction, numbness, very disconnected from emotions. And then they like to have a reason or excuse why they're in this state. They're the victim of circumstance, and and it makes them very irresponsible, because when we acknowledge that we do have more skin in the game of this so-called world, we have to take accountability. We have to be more mature with our emotions and how we express ourselves and the things we go after and take action and push us outside of our comfort zone. And it's like this person's given up on themselves and their life. It's like, it is what it is now. Here's where I sit. It's like, really? There's a bigger truth here. I feel like this person feels a lot of compassion for you. I feel like this person feels a lot of warmth in your energy. And I do feel like there's a lot being illuminated about this person. And I do feel like why this might have not have moved forward or been very stuck, aside from all of the things that I was talking about, their tendency to hold back or be blocked or emotionally disconnected, is this means to an end attitude, which is like, oh, it probably isn't going to work out and I'm going to screw it up anyway, or I'm not good enough here to sustain you. And you're high maintenance, or you deserve the best here, or there's something here that I would need to do and show you that can't meet up to your level. And so therefore I'm just going to sabotage it, and I'm going to pretend you don't exist, or that version of me that could be great doesn't exist either. And the reality is that I am this suffering person who is incapable, who is disconnected, and I'm just going to keep harming myself by telling myself that this is who I am. And they will continue being who this person is as long as they keep telling themselves this. Or they can totally work with their self-confidence in order for them to trust themselves, to take a chance on themselves, to experience something different than this, and see what happens. I feel like this person has been in a lie about how they felt about you, probably for a long time. It might still be, it's like there's a denial here of how they feel, because their feelings here contradict this. And so the more they feel about you, it's like they can't deny, and they'll be forced to sort of look at these two worlds. But I do feel like because they've been so disconnected, that I feel this person has a very hard time connecting to those emotions. Like at most, it's like this Page of Cups. This isn't very emotionally mature. But at least I feel here, and this is for some of you guys, okay, most of you guys who are here on this timeline, I feel like when you met this person, I don't feel this person was even in a Page of Cups. This person could have been completely detached, like completely, So this is the beginning stage of connecting to those emotions. And I think this is what the realization is here. It's like finally there's this little bridgeway to the emotions that need to be strengthened, the confidence over time. But I do feel like as long as this person is using or distracting or numb, it's like they forget about this part that's very real. Like they'd rather, if they could, just like not feel anything about anyone because it's safe there. I'm not hurt there. I don't have to connect to that, but it's like too late, because I feel like this person now has feelings for you, although Page feelings, and you think, well, it's not very deep then. This must mean, that they don't have these like strong feelings. And it's like actually quite the opposite, because this isn't just about the level of feelings and intensity or depth of feeling. This is more about it being life-changing for them to connect to their feelings for once in a very, very long time, maybe for once in their life here, because I don't know how long this person's been disconnected from their feelings, but I feel they've been avoiding, distracting, and numbing themselves for a very long time. And they've been very, insensitive towards this connection. And I feel like insensitive to themselves. Like, I don't need to feel, I don't need to be in a relationship, or I don't need to have those. Like, the feelings are not needed. It's something we can do without, because all it's going to create is sort of this control over me, or like make me feel like helpless or hopeless, or like I can't do anything with it anyway. And I do feel like this person might have, I don't know, even do some sort of guilt trip here. I don't know how this plays into your connection, but it's like a guilt trip here, because I feel like this person wants you to sort of stay stagnant. It's like, I don't want to explore this, but I do feel this person doesn't want to let you go. And so the guilt trip here is like, stay in my stagnant world, in this minimum page energy that I have of my emotions towards you. And it's like, no, because you're this Queen of Wands. That's like page energy. Like, when are you kidding me? Like, it's not that I don't love you. It's that the Queen of Wands is deserving of a King of Wands energy back at her, at the least. I mean, there is no anybody owing her anything here in this world, but it's like, she knows that if she's going to invest in a connection and in a relationship, why would she stay in the page's world, where this page is evidently not even showing any signs of movement or trust in himself, that there will be movement, and that he likes to keep things in this state that's really not real. It's fantasy, it's illusion, it's not experienced in this 3D world. And it's all due to his fear of, he's going to fail anyway, and it's not going to work out anyway, or I'm going to be the one that drops the ball anyway here. So I feel like this person has been wearing a mask of how they truly feel on the inside, but it wasn't because they wanted to hide themselves from this Queen of Wands so much as they wanted to hide themselves from themselves. Like, they don't want to be honest with their feelings. They don't want to admit to themselves that they have feelings. And so I feel like this mask is falling off. And under this mask is a lot of pain. And I feel this person's finally connecting to emotions. Like, the mask is slipping. We see crying. We see this Page of Cups, which does talk about emotions here. And it's like, finally, there's like this little release here, And I feel like this is why it's by the Destroyer, because I'm almost seeing, like, right now, this crack in the foundation. And this is talking about the ground opening up, because I think all we need is a little fracture and a little shift, which I feel things are shifting, and this whole thing's going to crack open. And I think there's going to be floodgates here, because now I'm seeing this like geysers, like all of this emotional pent up energy has been stuffed in this distracted energy, and we've been disassociating or like disconnected for so long, but things have been accumulating on the inner world. And so where do they go? They got to be expressed, released, explored, and acknowledged in some capacity, And I feel like, because this big old sun's the first card here, this is all about clarity and enlightenment and consciousness. And I feel like whatever was in the dark is coming to light. And whatever was in the dark was these emotions. They were stuffed down. They were not taken seriously. I feel like they were not acknowledged, because this person was like not putting a lot of weight on emotion. It's like, why would I acknowledge emotion? Like, that's silly. Like, that means nothing to me, kind of writing it off. It's like, no, you're not the person in the world here who is the only one who can not deal with emotions and it just not be a thing for you, no matter how much you want to believe it to be true. So I feel like there's this coming to light of emotions, and this could be very intense, very intense. Like, the shadow side of the light is like getting burnt, and it's like, these emotions are so intense that it's like burning me. But I feel like it's all made for this person to see and connect. And I feel like this person was really wanting to explore and go, like this Fool and this Page of Wands, enthusiasm, go and see and learn and find out. But it's like, whoa. If I go and find out, I might get hurt. I might get feels. I might go in deep. I might get controlled in some way here. And I already know that I'm not good enough, or that it's not going to work out, and that I must just give up now. It's like I'll give up now this connection rather than in the future. And it's like this self sabotage of fail now, where I'm less invested rather than failing then, because I'm going to fail anyway. Another page. Some of you guys could have a child with this person, or this person could have a child, not necessarily, but I feel like it's representing this inner child of what's created this sort of lack of confidence and this stagnation that this person is sitting in and blocking it. And so there is right now a need to understand and see. And I feel like this person could be very immature, defensive, or a little bit like argumentative, like a child, potentially, when maybe there is a need for them to have more open communication. They could be, very surface here. I feel like maybe with the conversations you have with this person, like everything seems a little bit surface here. Because again, like you can only get too close. It's like I can't go deep about how I feel and talk about anything here. So I feel like there's a block to communication, a block to the depth of feelings, a block to letting you in, a block to the progress, a block to them holding themselves back from exploring. And then I just keep it in this fantasy. And I do feel like for a lot of you guys, you're this dream person's person. Like you would be this person's dream come true, but that's why it seems almost like surreal here, because it's like, that's just a fantasy here. Who am I kidding? Like, I'm putting you on a pedestal in some way, because it's like, I'm not from that world. It won't work out. And I'd have to be someone I'm not. And this is the biggest lie to self, is like, and maybe there is truth in this, that this person isn't that, but it's like, that doesn't mean that this person cannot experience what this connection is. And it's like, maybe this person is very much fearful of like them having to change and be different, and that would require me going outside of my comfort zone. And so here I sit in what I feel is already my truth. But is it your truth, or is it fear, or is it just numbing out and choosing to not look at our emotions here because we're too fearful what we might find? So let's pull some of these. One more, two more. So look at this, growth. This is page energy, okay? Something's budding, but something needs to be nurtured. This also gives me the health. And I was getting like with the self-harm, I feel like this person needs to first and foremost focus on their health, nurturing themselves, because I feel like there's a huge disconnect physically from feeding themselves like things that will make them feel good. And then the emotional and the spiritual and all that will come into play, because I do feel like the physical for sure is suffering here, and the health of this connection, but something's budding here, and I do feel like I mentioned, like we've seen growth. I do feel there's been growth with this person to connect with this pile, where this person might have been like completely shut down. And so there's this page energy now, although it could be very frustrating, because this isn't even like night. Page is a child. A child does depend on another, like they're not, even an adolescent would depend on another, which is night energy, but the child sort of acts out and doesn't know why. And it's like, it's not really their fault, in some capacity. And so we could get very frustrated. It's like, this person should know better, or they're an adult, or this sort of a thing, but it's not necessarily true, because I feel like this person is still growing in that world. And so this is about something accumulating in order for something big to sort of happen here. And we see the 4, which again, that 4 to me is giving me stagnancy. I mean, it is about structure, foundations, and stability and planning, but I feel like this person's been in there for stability for some time. And I feel like this has been accumulating this sort of energy over time. And the Tower here, I feel, is what is needing to be deconstructed, because if they keep building over top of this sort of world that they've created here, I feel like it's not healthy for one. It's not self-sustaining. I feel like something's going to break. I do feel this crack is talking about like, the ground opening up here. And if we have a tower built on a crack that's not solid, this will come tumbling down. And so then the truth is going to be revealed here. I'm getting heavy tower energy. So this is the claw, 63, and this is about like dropping the ball. I feel like this is this biggest person's thing is I will drop the ball, and what happens if the ball drops? So I might as well not even try or play the game. It's like the mental energy in which this person's at already. Like they won't even play or try because I will fail and it won't succeed and I won't get the prize or what I want. That's a very negative point of view, but it's like trusting themselves to win, trusting themselves to try even. And it's not even about winning. It's like the experience in doing and enjoying and, experiencing it. They enjoy. So here we have the fairy, which is all about magic. And I get to manifesting and creating a reality. And so if this person is in a mindset of I can't, I won't, it won't succeed, that's what they keep experiencing. And if they can manifest better things, then it'd be all based on this mindset. So this is what they're being shown. And we have here a squirrel, which is all about preparing. Preparedness. It's doing the groundwork here, I feel this person does have something very stable about them, And I do feel like this person does have the capacity to put in the work. And I do feel like the groundwork has sort of been done here, over time between you and your person, because I am seeing there being some growth. I am seeing there being some preparedness here, but I don't know, like, did they drop the ball recently or has something fallen apart? Because I feel like if that's the case, then Spirit's really coming through with this is the big tower then, which is getting you out of the way, because this tower can't fall on you. This tower has to fall on this person's world. And only they can experience this tower. You can't be standing here beside them. And so maybe you've been pulled out of this person's world. It's like this person dropped the ball because Spirit is saying, hey, pile 3, get out of the way. There's a big heaving tower is about to come tumbling down, no matter how much, work we've done here. And maybe you've been preparing for this. For a lot of you guys, you're very intuitive. It's like we prepared. I knew this person was going to face this tower. And this is all the work that we've been sort of doing and healing in order for this to come tumbling down. And this is exactly what is happening here. So 86, we see the potion and the dagger, and this is like star-crossed lovers, because I feel like something was misaligned here with the stars or timing, divine timing, or not coming because it's stuck. And it's like until this person embraces the truth, we can't come together. Things aren't really aligned unless this person deals with this thing, because there's something inauthentic about this person and how they're living their life that's creating harm to them and then harmful to this connection. Yeah, and I feel like with 14 here, and I think, were we getting 14 here? Yeah, it's like temperance, so Sagittarius energy, but this is like, temperance is really talking about the need for healing, but I'm getting that physical healing, soothing. This is divinely guided. I'm seeing like the temperance angel, divine timing. And also I'm seeing like this person having to be in the right ingredient to show up here in this connection, because I feel like you're, again, maybe very enlightened or very much in this beautiful energy. And this person isn't reflecting this energy. And it's not because they're not worthy or incapable. It's because this person's world, like we talked about, like something shattering here, this illusion that they have, this truth that needs to be seen about them. The mask needs to fall, the false self. They need to embrace this truth, so that they can become the other cup of the temperance, so that both of you guys can come together here and create something. Elfine, so that's the ending. I feel like there is an end of a huge phase here, because I do feel like this tower is about to fall if it hasn't already. The crack is there, and the deconstruction of the false self. The mask has slipped. Okay, but still, it's like little bits of emotion, but it's still not the full geyser. Like I said, it's still not the full tower falling here. So Spirit is saying something's coming to an end, and we could have experienced an ending here of the connection in the material world or in the 3D with this person for some time in order for these things to flesh out. But it's really about them ending this cycle. So 3 is Empress energy. So all about abundant love, giving and receiving love, unconditional love here. Taurus, Libra energy. Feel your person sees you as a beautiful Empress. Then we have the camera, which came out for all 3 piles so far. So the camera talks about memories. You know, if you are in separation with your person, which I feel for some of you guys you are, because there was some form of an ending here or something stuck, it's like they miss you. They're looking at your pictures. They're thinking about, you know, past times. But I feel like what I'm seeing here with this camera is like that card in the Kim Kranz alchemy deck, which is like resin. And I feel like something that happened in like a camera's a picture is very like capturing like an image, you know, in time. I feel like the resin is showing me something captured in time. And so I feel like, what is it showing me? It's like an experience maybe that they experienced that is very real, that needs to be revisited, that's created all of this conflict and all of these beliefs and all of this mask and this need to protect. It's like all created by this one experience that's very real to them and in their energy body of how they remembered being told they weren't good enough, or that, I don't know, one thing that happened. And it could even be maybe not as a child, but it's like a memory. So a divorce, you know, or like a loss. I feel like this person's experienced a loss, something that made them feel like they weren't successful. And then they implemented that belief that they're not good enough because I had a divorce, or I'm not good enough because my parents divorced, or I'm not good enough because I come from this experience. And that's been my story and my experience. And so now, therefore, this is how I'm living in my world, you know, preventing abandonment or preventing losses. Yeah, that's the mindset. I prevent losses, and then it shuts out every possibility of anything good happening. But at least I'm not experiencing a loss. Like that is the means to an end. At least I'm not experiencing a loss. At least I'm not having to sit in my own disappointing self of dropping the ball and not succeeding and having to go through that. So I'll just not try. I'll just not do it. I'll just, yeah, that's suffering, you know? And I feel you love this person, but it's like, you might have to go, you know, understand something about self. And so some of you guys might have resonated with the first pile. For some of you guys, you know, maybe. Beautiful pile number 3. I love you guys so much. I hope this helped you guys, and I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 4, Monet Tarot. I love you guys very much. I'm so blessed that you guys are here. Let's take a look at this person you came here about, and what are they realizing about themselves? Okay, right here, right now, what are their recent realizations about themselves? Now, if this comes reverse, meaning this is about your realizations, you can go check out another pile, although it will help you if you are wanting to sort of get a different perspective of your own energy that might come through from spirit. Okay, there's also a reason why it pulls through that way, but don't feel obligated, and certainly your person could be in another pile. So sometimes we get 2 energies, 3 energies, whatever. I'll do my best to differentiate between energies, but it's up to you to assign who is who. If I get it wrong, crisscross it, but don't force it to fit, okay? So we're looking at pile number 4 and the person they came here about, and what are their recent realizations about themselves. Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 4. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message, and please help me to channel in a way that pile 4 will understand. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here. All right, so let's take a look. What is pile 4's person's recent realizations about themselves? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of this connection, and pile 4. Thank you, Spirit. So blessed to be here doing this reading. Pile 4's person's recent realizations. Right here, right now, Spirit. This chunk came out sort of not naturally, so I won't take those. Okay, let's pull the oracles. Now, if I forget your buttons, because we will pull these buttons, just come back to the end of your reading and I'll insert it there because I almost forgot for pile 2, okay? So try to remember. Clear and concise message. Pile number 4, in regards to the person they came here about. What are their recent realizations about themselves? Spirits. No, I was hoping right. Clear and concise message. Mythomania. Wow. 57. We'll read them shortly. Clear and concise message for beautiful pile number 4 and the person they came here about. What is pile 4's person's recent realizations about themselves? One more. The healer. 25. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 4 and person they came here about. What are the recent realizations about themselves? Got 2 cards. And I'm going to put these, pull these. Pile 4's person's recent realizations about themselves. I feel like, wow. Ooh, are you ready? I guess we're ready. Okay, so we have the Ace of Pentacles. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse. Under that, we have 4 cups. Okay. We have the Empress in reverse, Taurus Libra, Divine Feminine energy. We have 10 swords. And we have 6 cups. And that's my soulmates card. Soul recognition, person, place, thing of the past. This could be a block to love, self-love. This is a painful ending. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Some of you guys might have been drawn to pile 1. Wheel of Fortune was in the exact same spot. I'm kind of feeling the same energy, but it could be a progress version. We'll see. Maybe a reverse or a regress version. Who knows? Anyway, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, we have the World and we have 7 cups. Okay, so 7 cups. Knight of Cups in reverse and the 9 of Wands. This could be a blended pile. Interesting. Okay, 9 of Wands, Knight of Cups in reverse. Let's see. We have negativity, collective plague 67, systematic refusal, opposition, hostility, rejection, which is this 4 cups energy under here. Okay, resistance and denigration. Type 4, the individualist emotional center between lack and abundance. And 4 is Emperor energy, Aries. Okay, negativity. And then we have this integration, growth level 88. 88 is the master number. A higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. Wow. Scholar, deep knowledge. I'm getting High Priestess energy here and Hierophant. Okay, deep knowledge. Visionary, realism, erudition, specialist, and concentration. 7-5. Chariot, faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. Also getting Tower energy from the 7 and the 5, just because 5 is all about change and rebuild and conflict. Okay, the type 7 enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain, between mythomania here, 57. Imagination, conspiracy, trickery, hypocrisy, storyteller, workaholic. 3, Empress energy. Taurus Libra. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authority. I think I read that, sorry. So we got solar plexus energy here with this yellow. And then the heart with the green here. Okay, and we have the medallion. Wow. 59. Or the card 14. I'm going to see what this is. This reading is blowing my mind. I'm about to jizz in my pants. I'm just joking. Oh, Linda, you're funny. But I am about to blow something here. I don't know what I'm going to blow. I'll just shut up now. Just shut it, woman. I need to see this card here because something Why am I? Yeah. Yo. Suddenly, I forget how to read Roman numerals. Okay, the medallion, the amulets, the talisman, the heirloom. The passing on of sacred objects is an ancient ritual within families between lovers and in tribes across the globe. We gift jewels, treasures, keepsakes, and mementos of all kinds, some of the great material value, others that hold emotional resonance, and still others with both. Yet when these gifts are bestowed upon us, it is important to recognize that they may bind us to an unspoken agreement or promise. When the medallion card appears, be aware of how the objects you hold dear may be embedded with unconscious energy or expectations. Materials hold consciousness, and it's time to reconcile the vibration of the objects around you. What do you covet and collect? Why? Is there an object you have held onto for many years that you are ready to release? Perhaps it is time to reach for the medallion that aligns with your deepest values. When light, upholding tradition, projecting honor. When dark, burdensome inheritance and habituation. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is so clear, this reading. Insane. I'm starting to get a head rush. Deflection and your fear. Yeah. Wow. I'm just blown away. Engineer, light attributes, ability to give creative energy, a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Shadow attributes, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. This is being in the mind. And we have liberator, light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Shadow attributes, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. And we have child magical. This came out for pile number 2, I believe. Yeah, I think, yeah. Seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Shadow attributes, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth in the shadow attribute. Okay. And then here we have storyteller. Light attributes, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow attributes, making up sales to harm others. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let me just sit here with this before I get all jizzing in my pants. Okay. Pile number 4. Wow. This pile, there's 2 people energy here, you and your person. You could flip it. I kind of assume who you are here. I think you're in another pile and your person's in another pile in this whole reading. Okay. And I do feel like you're most likely probably find yourself either in the past or now in pile 1. Your person could certainly be either in 2 or 3. Okay. Take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, you don't watch it. I don't care. But all I'm telling you is that this is 2 people here. Okay. Or you could just watch this one, whatever. So what's going on here? There is an agreement here between you and this person, whether it be somewhere in the in-between lives session before you were incarnated. Who knows? But karma and energy is connected, and there is some form of a thing that's wrapping up here, and it's very intense. What's wrapping up here? It's all about waking us up. And so some of you guys might resonate with the twin flame journey. It doesn't have to be, but the agreement here is very clear. You and this person are going to show to each other parts of yourself in order for you to wake up. What are you waking up from? You're waking up from the matrix to actually free yourself. All of your fears, projections, stories you told yourself about who you are and what you're capable of, and all of your attachments to the material world and those identities are being stripped away. Okay, where you're at on that journey, I don't know. Okay, because this is about what you're sort of realizing, or what they're realizing and what their recent realizations are. Okay, but this is sort of coming through as the grand finale poobah of what's going on here. Okay. And so what is this about? This is about a deeper knowledge, the deep knowledge that exists outside of this time and space realm. It is the knowing without seeing. It is the intuitive guidance we get from spirit. It is the spiritual growth we have when we go through a spiritual awakening of sorts, to know that there's a greater power and that we aren't anything in the material world, and we're not our attachments and our identities. None of that stuff. And we have to really sit with ourselves and detach those stories of who we think we are in order to sit with the truth of who we are. And so this is what's happening. And so I feel this connection is very challenging, because I do feel like there's been a lot of deflection, not on purpose, but we experience this person deflecting what they're needing to work on, and we deflect what we need to work on. And Spirit keeps saying, the more frustrated we are in this connection, it's because your fears are being projected and shown back to you. We're projecting onto this person's projecting onto us. This is all for a reason. It's to create liberation of the matrix and liberation of outmoded beliefs and thought patterns. There's a lot of getting stuck in our head, telling ourselves certain things and then believing it to be true. And it's nothing but a thought story. And we could believe it so much so that it becomes a reality, but it's not actually real. It's an attachment we have to how real it is that becomes the suffering. Okay, play that on slow, rewind if you want. Okay, but what this is talking about is undoing those neural pathways in the brain that create those toxic automatic reactions. And I say toxic, even if they're not, haven't been toxic in the past. It's like, no, I tell myself that I'm confident. I tell myself all these positive things. It's like, it's toxic because the attachment to that is what's creating the suffering. Okay. If you don't want to call it toxic, call it whatever, call it imaginary, call it anything you want. But the point being, if it creates suffering, then it doesn't belong here. And the fact is that it actually doesn't even exist. Like, a belief doesn't really exist. It's the attachment to that belief and the way we sort of have that connection to it. And so this connection is really showing you guys what you guys believe in, who you guys believe yourselves to be, what stories you're telling yourself, what part of this world has been your experience, and what part are you still attached to? Are you still attached to a certain job, a certain relationship, a certain way of being, something in the practical world that you're giving yourself to that is actually not you, but that you identify with? I am a wife. I am this teacher. I am this lawyer. I am this engineer. I am this free bird. I am this single person. I am a mother, a caregiver, whatever the story is. We're none of those things. And so I feel like this journey is about learning about the spiritual realm and the spiritual side of who we actually are, with our essence being that's devoid or void of the material version of us who we thought we were. Because I do feel like there is a lot of healing that's being done, but I feel like both of you guys are most likely healers. However, this healer manifests in each of your world is different. Okay, this could come through as, I don't know, one of you guys might develop power within your hands to heal people physically. Some of you guys might become like spiritual teachers. Some of you guys might become yoga teachers. Some of you guys might become, like I don't know, counselors battling I don't know, like youth maybe battling addictions. Like, there's a whole bunch of ways we can heal the collective. And so I feel like there is this need to heal the collective once we free ourselves of suffering, because the only thing we're faced with is, like I know the suffering and I don't want other people to suffer. And now that I'm awakened, the only thing I could do is be of service. And that's a choice that we make when we can see through the veil or the matrix. And so I feel like there's a lot of programming here that it has been in play for a long time with both you and your person, creating all sorts of suffering, depression, attachment, a need for growth, a need to believe in something outside of the matrix world. And so both of you guys might have been non-spiritual, or maybe just, I don't know, even if it's been religious, it's like it's still in this material realm, because I think that's all taught to us through books, you know? Like, okay, Jesus died on the cross, and then we believe in this thing. It's like, it's not saying it didn't exist. It's just saying, like, that isn't an experience with the divine. This is all about dancing with the divine and having an experience where we see behind the veil. And we can't explain the journey and the experience we have because it's very much shattering the illusion of what seems very real and in front of us, and it's the matrix. And so we're being called to look at what we tell ourselves and all of those thoughts that come in that are like detrimental to our growth because they've been holding us back all our life. And I feel like there might be a lot of defensiveness between you and this person, you know, and maybe you don't realize your own defensiveness, because I do feel like we deflect, not on purpose, but when we're still in the matrix, rather than take what's happening and then try to really understand from a deeper level of knowledge, not from the intellect of the mind, but from the heart intelligence, with this green ray here, which is talking about heart intelligence, learning about, again, unconditional love. So there's a block to love here. And the block to love is because there's the matrix world and the way that we have been loving in the past, which hasn't been unconditional. And we've had to learn about self-love and self-value. So I feel like there's still a journey here of self-love, unconditional love, learning about our own value. And we can only see it when we drop the illusion. And so I feel like there's a very strong soul tie here to this person and an agreement to work on this. And it's like neither of us can sort of move forward, or maybe you get stuck in very cyclical patterns, whether you're with this person or not with this person. It's like, it's still a pattern here in your world that needs to sort of come to light and be resolved in conjunction with this person at some point in time. And so I feel like I'm going to assume you are the one who maybe feels like you got rejected by this person, or maybe both of you guys feel rejected at certain times. And it's like, we're not really being rejected by the other person. We're the ones sort of creating this rejection because it's a mirror. It's creating this sort of wake-up call for us to know that there is no such thing as being rejected by another. There's just somebody who either is in shadow, not seeing us and not to take it personal and still connect to us, or our ego gets flared up and we start to feel unloved and rejected and all this stuff. So there's an opportunity here for both of you guys to create a new reality once we close this cycle here in the 3D, because this isn't all about spiritual woo-woo stuff that stays in the 5D and it's just there. There's a reason why it has to work through in the 5D, so that when we come to this 3D like experience, we could bring what we've learned to the 3D. We could be involved in, like I said, acts of service, paying it forward. Like really whatever happens in this 5D and throughout this internal sort of revelation or unraveling of the false self and the ego and all of this stuff actually frees us to come back to the 3D, come back as a conscious being, come back as an enlightened being, come back as a present person, not subconsciously acting out of fears and egos and traumas, in order for us to have a new beginning. And this new beginning starts once we close out the cycle of the false self, the cycle of the egoic self, the self that deflected, the self that had a lot of fears in the shadow. And we'll know when our fears get triggered because we start to feel anxious, a need to control. I need to know what's going on. Force outcome. It's them. We see trouble out there. We see disconnect out there. We see how other people are deflecting, but that's all what's happening inside of us. If we see other people behaving in a certain way, that's because there's something going on inside of us that needs to be looked at. Now, this doesn't mean if this person is swearing and yelling, that means I'm really someone who needs to swear and yell. It just means we're repressing a part of ourselves that wants to be expressed. And we're trying to control that part of us. I'm good. I don't swear. I don't yell. I overgive. What are we repressing here? There's some repression on both sides, and they're coming through differently. And so I feel like the person you're dealing with might be hostile, might be rejecting you, might be resisting this connection. And I feel like you're in la la land here. You know, there's some sort of story we're telling ourselves about why we're not good enough or why this isn't working or what this connection might mean, and like all sorts of delusions here. And Spirit saying, no, there's time for us to really sort of wake up. Okay. And it's like waking up to what is the story in the mind, what is actually going on in 3D, and acknowledging that there is a 5D capacity to this thing that's happening, but we need to sort of know. Okay, and the only way we really know is to go through this thing where we might feel like we're losing our bearings. We're not sure. Are we in the 5D, the 3D? Everything seems kind of, like some big sort of mixed soup. But it's really about identifying the false self that's really triggered from the subconscious, and then being very connected to the divine self and the divine, spirit. But it's our divine self in order to guide us, in order for us to clear this block so we can connect to unconditional love in the heart space. So I feel like there has been resistance and it's created suffering and an ending. And if we're still engaged with this person, it's like there is a feeling of feeling separate. There's a feeling of feeling lack, loss. And we have to investigate this feeling. We don't have to do anything, but if we're suffering, this is what this contract's about. Okay, this is what this journey here is being shown to you and why you've been sort of put in this person's world. And so the realization here for you is one of the same thing they're learning about, peeling back the false self and why we do what we do. And why we do what we do is a deflection to upkeep the stories we told ourselves, the safety net of the matrix that we're living in. And so this person pushes people out to keep that world alive, which is fake. And you have been maybe trying to engage in this person's world, and you're in some sort of like storytelling rather than seeing reality as it is and accepting the reality. Okay, and reality is if this person is in this state, to not to take it personally and give this person space to be in that state. And it has nothing to do with your value and your self-worth. But why does it feel like you're really pulled to it? Because there's a contractual thing that's needing to flesh out. It needs to fire you up. It needs to get this energy really like strong within you so that there can be change. Otherwise, you would just move on and close the door and say, yeah, this person's just another person who might not be interested in me and who cares? But we can't do this because we're being freed, even though we feel very chained. So it's kind of this paradoxical lesson of, in order to be freed, I have to know what it's like to be chained to beliefs, chained to my feelings, chained to this suffering, chained to this belief I have of me not being worthy or not accepted or rejected or not seen. And your person is in a prison of their own, not liberated, feeling like they might be controlling their own reality. I am making these decisions that I control my reality. And so I'm hostile or just like resistant and fighting against reality rather than allowing myself to be honest with how I feel and acknowledging what's going on in my matrix world here that's been keeping me hostage. It's very reflected with the both of you, although kind of a different lesson. It's mirrored both sides. There is a shattering of what we tell ourselves, what we believe, and allowing the inner child to come out. Because the inner child is really believing in everything. Everything. Like even the things we cannot see. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just like the analogy of electricity, It's like you can't see it, the light goes on and off. It's like, yeah, you see it brighter, but it's like you can't see it. It doesn't mean it's not existing. Doesn't mean it's very real. There's a very realness here, a realness in healing and strength. And there's a realness in this other world, which might have been very closed off to both of you guys. It's like, if it's not in front of me, I don't believe it or I don't see it. And so your person could be very much in the 3D, like stuck in a unhappy job or marriage or like stagnancy or like predictability or like an addiction or like something in the matrix, where you might be having to overcome all sorts of self-worth, self-love, which I mean, your person's having to do as well because I feel it's mirrored, but it might reflect very differently, you know? And storytellers coming out twice because I feel like there's a need to accept reality as it is. The more we sort of tell ourselves what we think is happening because we say, hey, this is the 5D world. This is the part that we don't see, like Linda's talking about, the electricity. And so, but it's real. It's real. It's like, is it real? Or is this a deflection of what's happening in front of you? Because I feel like for you, if I'm reading the energy right, there's a need to see reality in 3D as it is and first do that. Yes, the 5D exists. Yes, there's things very spiritual. Yes, this could be a spiritual connection. Yes, 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 yes. But who cares about that for now? Let's not make stories. This is my spiritual partner. This is my soulmate. This is my twin flame. I'm a healer. I'm a this, I'm a that. Those are all attachment stories and none of that exists. Wipe it away, wipe it away, wipe it away, wipe it away. Windshield wiper. No, no, no. All we're doing right now is we're having to sit with ourselves and be very honest with what's going on in the 3D, first of all and foremost. And when we feel uncomfortable about it, sit with that. What comes up? Do I feel rejected? Do I feel loved? Do I feel like something's missing or lacking? Sit with that. That's the very first foremost thing, because what's right in front of our nose is this matrix thing. And I have a feeling for this group that I'm reading, this person goes off into some 5D space land about what is in this dreamy, la far away place. And that's okay, you know, if we're writing fiction. But right here, right now, this isn't what this is requiring, you know? And so I feel like there's a call to action, and I feel like it's being mirrored because I feel like maybe your person is very much in the matrix world and we're sort of off in this 5D, but yet both of us have like the same sort of chains to the 3D matrix, which is all about the beliefs and the identities and the attachment we have to how things are within our inner world. Our inner world needs to be examined. Our inner world needs to be discovered. We need to dissolve. And so this came out, I think, for the Libra reading that I did, but this is an exercise which might help. It's like whatever the thought is, the belief, like feel it inside of you. Go there. Feel the texture of what that feels like. It's most likely in your mind. You know, it could be in your gut as well. I don't know where it sits, but it's like this. Go to the mind, like the story you have of that belief or that understanding that feels very real to you. Sit with it, feel it, know how to kind of step in it and out of it and around it and kind of make it a thing inside your world. And then follow the cord or the umbilical cord, if you will, from that to yourself, because there's a part of yourself that's connected to that idea, that belief, that story. And when you follow that cord, it connects to something. That something is what you need to look at. Okay, now know that that belief story doesn't exist, so it's kind of easier to keep working through that and dissolve that belief or that attachment you have. It's hard at first, but it's easier than this next stage that I'm going to tell you. Is that cord is leading to a you. That you also does not exist. That is a sense of self. That is the ego, the identity you created that attaches to that story. You have to look at that I. That's the little I that you're creating there. So neither does the belief or the story, neither does the umbilical cord, and neither does that I exist. And once we dissolve all that, what are we left with? We're left with this beautiful shining light of essence being of what's actually true. Okay, but I feel like we need to do a lot of inner work like this and start to look at all of the different stories we tell ourselves, because I feel there's more than one story identity here, more than one umbilical cord, more than one little I. There's a bunch of little I's. There's the I that feels like rejected. There's the I that attaches to my thoughts and beliefs about what happiness means. There's the I that's attached to the version of who I think this person means to me. There's an I that there's all these I's within you. And none of those I's are true. Those are all identities. And they're the cause of the suffering. And this journey requires you to get rid of the ego, get rid of the I, and liberate yourself from that. because that's how we deflect accountability, by believing that I has validity, but this I is true, but this belief is true. And so the more we sort of ride that wave that I is true, and we really, really sort of feel it, then we deflect anything that wants to contradict it. Meanwhile, this person has a bunch of I's as well. And so it's like you guys have your sense of self that's like is trying to show each other that neither of yourselves are actually real, and both of you guys are right. Neither of those selves exist, but we're deflecting and we're upkeeping and we're trying to maintain that I, because the ego doesn't want to be dissolved. That I wants to exist, fighting in there. It doesn't want that story to fade. It doesn't want that belief to go. And it's going to create another belief and another ego and another I, and it's a perpetual thing. And so this is a lot of work to just be very aware that you're not your beliefs and your attachments. You're not your experiences. You're not your thoughts. That might be very real and experienced and understood, but we need to know when we're in the mind and when we're in the essence of who you are. And so this takes a lot of conceptual sort of dancing, to go through the ins and outs of this. But I feel like this is what we're closing out, is the cycle of an identity that we created of who we believe we are, and your person doing the exact same thing as well. And remember, 88, like I said, it's a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness and reverence for life. Because once we're self-aware, I'm aware of the I's I create. I'm aware of my beliefs and my identities and my attachments. And now that I'm aware of it, I could deconstruct it or know when it's on program. And you might not want to get rid of some of them. That's fine. But at least the awareness is really bringing it to light, because when it's in the shadow, it starts to run havoc. It starts to deflect. It starts to do all these things, and it's in its own mind and in its own control. And it's like, no, it doesn't have control over me. I'm aware. I'm aware of my shadow. I'm aware of these identities. And so now I have more say. And now I know when I'm in dreamland and making up stories. But now that I have this self-awareness, it's like I have a higher calling. What's your higher calling here? Pile number 4, you have a higher calling, and so does this purpose. So does this person, which is coming into your purpose. Is for all of you guys is different, but I feel like it's not through book knowledge. It's through, yes, the understanding, but it's also through the experience. I have experienced this, and if your person or you like had to overcome, I don't know, like let's say abusive relationship, then it's like I help people go through abusive relationships because I've been through that. If it's an addiction, it's like I've been through this addiction. I know what it's like. This is the only way I'm able to offer and be of service, because I walk the talk. I can come to the other side here, and those who are needing my message and needing my healing are going to find me. And there we align with our purpose. It's so aligned. It's not through just like I went to school to do this because I had this pull that maybe I'd be a good counselor or this sort of thing, which is fine. But it's different because it feels more like a job. But when we are sort of pushed in that direction out of an experience and we devote ourselves to that, it becomes our purpose in our life. It's like, that's the calling. This is the reason why you've been sort of here. This is the reason why you've been through this experience. This doesn't mean that you and this person are going to be happily ever after and have babies together. Maybe, maybe not. But I feel like what this purpose really is here is to wake you up, wake them up out of addiction, wake them up out of stagnancy, wake you up out of addiction and stagnancy, wake you up out of mind stories and identities and the matrix and all of the stuff that creates this suffering. But we have to believe in the fact that we have the ability to do this inner work and know that when we're pulled into suffering, it's the old way and the ego trying to hang on to that, because we start to go back and forth, or we start to doubt. And it's like that inner world becomes very real. It becomes very, the nightmare becomes very real. And we start to second guess. And that's the fear getting very loud. That's not the intuition. And the louder you're sort of, the more you're clear, or the more the intuition comes through, the fear gets louder and louder. It's designed this way for a reason. And so we start to get very discombobulated. What's my fear? What's my ego? Let's pull some of these. So, I don't know, you guys are all in different places, but this is what you're realizing. So, forever, look at this. So we see an arrow through the heart. Again, could talk about heartbreak, but I feel like it's very pointed. It's like both of you guys have been impacted in the heart space. Because in the heart space, right here in the center of your person and you, or you could flip it, like I said, is this beautiful heart space about this deep knowledge. Deep knowledge comes from what? Comes from the heart. The heart is the window to the soul here. Okay, or the doorway, I should say, to the soul. And the soul spirit is untainted. It doesn't have programming and projections and fears. The heart is only expansive. The heart doesn't sort of have any boundaries and this and that. That's all created by fears and the chakra system. That has nothing to do with the heart. The heart itself, when it's clear, it's just open and it's expansive. It's able to give love, give love, give love. It's outputting energy. Okay. And so I feel like there is a need to really connect to the heart. And this is what you guys are learning and going through. Look at this. This is all about spiritual alignment here with all the planets being aligned. Again, this is something very big in regards to an agreement of sorts that needs to be understood. And now is the time that everything's aligning for this lesson to be unfolded. And I see Saturn. Saturn's a ruling planet for Capricorn, Aquarius, but Saturn is a very heavy planet because it's all about, like doing the work, putting in the time, the effort, the dedication, the sacrifice, sacrificing the now to gain for the later. And it could be very exhausting, tiring, and challenging, but it's very rewarding. And so I feel like this is what this journey is about here. Poison. So yeah, we have to understand where the toxins are. What is poisonous? And here what's poisonous is the ego. What's really not letting us be free is our own fear. And so what is the poisonous thoughts? What is the poison here? Is all the attachments and the self-deception that happens when we start to tell ourselves certain things. And I feel like this connection could be quite toxic, and it's toxic for a reason. This isn't justifying toxic relationships and stay with a narcissist empath. The people who are that have no idea what's going on. This is a toxic sort of mirror back to look at self. The only reason it could be toxic is because we're toxic. Someone isn't just toxic just in general. If someone's just toxic, they wouldn't be in our vicinity. If someone's toxic in our world and they won't go away, it's because it's showing us our toxicity. We are toxic. We. Okay, it's a strong word, but like I said, ego is toxic. So we have thank you. So I feel like at the end of this, there's gratitude. There's always supposed to be gratitude to help through this. So when we're challenged, is gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. When I feel like I'm toxic, gratitude. When I feel like I'm losing control, gratitude. What is going right? Thank you, Lord, for the ground beneath my feet, for the pillow I could put my head in. Like there might be like an expectation here, or feeling like gypped or left out, or like seeing what's not working and feeling very disconcerted. Meanwhile, it's like, be blessed for what is there. In this present moment, you have a lot going on that you should be very grateful for in order for you to really marinate in that beautiful world that's around you, till you're like in tears, feeling very thankful and blessed. And this is the type of energy that's really going to get you to overcome this. Because if we're going in hesitant and angry, or feeling less than or weak in some capacity, then we start to flounder and get lost in the inner world. It's like, I'm so blessed with this experience. I'm so grateful in this experience because I know that my purpose here is one of providing service to the collective. Like, how wonderful that I've been sort of guided on this journey. How blessed am I that the divine is working through me, that is showing me this stuff, dealing with this poisonous way that I've been. Look, more poison with this mushroom. And this is also about everything interconnected. This is unity consciousness. I'm connected to them, they're connected to me, and everything else is connected. Everything's in relationship. And so however you feel for this person should be how you feel about everyone and everything. Because everyone and everything, despite all their challenging parts of their false self, there's this knowing that I am of the same substance. Okay, but I feel like there is having to recognize when we ate that poisonous mushroom or that toxic part of ourself that made us feel very sick. This again is a metaphor. It made us feel sick when we acted in ego. It made me feel sick when I was looking for what was going to please me, what love meant to me at my own egoic cost. That is toxic. It's like, how can I be of service? How can I be loving to this person and accept them and make space? This isn't toxic love. This is all about open love. But when I start to expect this person to change or do this or be this way, that's toxic. Okay? Or at least it's not accepting reality. Go then to some other world. So we have 6 here with this dress and this magician's hat. I feel this is talking about the ego, because it's like when we first recognized ego, how it says in the Bible here is we had to cover up our body. We felt shame. We were hiding ourselves, our natural self here. And so I feel like there's a false self, there's a covering up, there's an appearing in a certain way, wanting to be seen in a certain way. You want to be seen, appreciated, you want to be beautiful, you want them to see and appreciate. It's like, no. Go watch the other piles. If that's where you're at, then that's ego. And you can say, well, who doesn't want it? It's like, no, the reason, the intention behind wanting this is what we need to look at. Yes, of course, we don't want people to be mean to us, but the intention, where is this intention? So we see 6 lovers, Gemini. And here we have the fork. Yeah, stick a fork in it, I'm done. I think this is all about really, really seeing things as it is, like not trying to change it, not trying to force it to be what we want it to be, not living in fantasy world where there's like, it's shape-shifting within us. Our beliefs could constantly be changing, like our thoughts. This is like stick a fork in it, it's done. Like what's there is there. What's real is real. There is no changing reality. There's only working with reality as it unfolds in front of us. And so this ego is done. It's done running the show. It's done making these decisions that are based in fears and deflecting. It's coming out, dealing with what's right in front of you. If that means ending whatever you need to end what you need to end. If this means accepting what you need to accept what you need to accept. Okay. So 16 is tower energy. And I feel like this has all been a big tower thing, deconstructing the ego, deconstructing the false self, deconstructing the matrix self, all a big fat tower. And this process is long and painful, very painful, but we must deconstruct in order to build the real self. Okay, 16 is also chariot energy, which is integration of shadow, the shadow self, the ego self that runs the show. Once it's in the light and once we're aware of it, it no longer runs the show. We get balance. We have success. This is all about you winning with the universe. Success, chariot. Okay, Cancer energy, faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. And it's interesting, faith came through here because that's working with the divine. Wisdom of the heart, deep knowledge, not necessarily intellect. Okay, and reflection, because that's working with what? The shadow, in order to really reflect and do the hermit's journey. Sit with self, reflect, be honest with yourself, not look and point what this person is doing and deflect and what's wrong out there. That's all showing you to reflect inwards. So this 16 pretty much sums up this whole reading. Faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding, chariot, tower, 7. Okay. And 77, even though we don't see it here, I'm getting the 77 because 7's pulling through very strong for your reading. It's trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life and trust of self. Wow. Powerful. Pile number 4. This is your reading. I love you guys very much. I hope this helped you. And these journeys are not easy. And this isn't everyone's reading, and that's fine. But you'll know who you are, and you'll know why you're here, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, beautiful angel. If you are called to another pile, I do suggest you go check that out. If not, then I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.